But for us here, it's exactly 6 minutes past 9 p.m.
Yeah, it's seven. Well, it's about just about five p.m. 7 past 5 my time.
Okay, all right. Welcome, my brother. After a very long weekend, good to be back on closing argument.
Yeah, definitely great to be back on here. How was your weekend though? I had a long weekend. Like you're rightful to say, I had a very long weekend. So I have Friday off.
Mm,
So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and went back
mm-hmm.
today. Normally it's normally 2 days, but I had 3 days weekend. So as you can
I
see, I'm
know.
supposed to be energized, but I'm not.
I can see it from the eyes. Despite the shades on, but yeah, it's still, it's still like you need more time to relax. Yeah,
Right,
but
I
that's
do.
it. Yeah, for us here, there is no holiday for us. There is no weekend. This is how we decide to serve our people. This is how we decide to serve our country. So whether it's holiday, whether it's weekend, but we got to be here every day, especially with such a platform, the biggest media hawks in the country. So the people, they're always tuning in to Truth FM, waiting to get more information. So when there's holiday or weekend, we're always here, and we keep the radio running. We keep it busy.
That's a great commitment, man. You guys, I mean, like I said, that's a great sacrifice, a great commitment to something that you believe in. I think that that drive actually comes from the fact that you're passionate about what you do, and
Hmm.
that's what actually a lot of people depend on what you do. That's a lot of time people say, don't simply focus on a career that can only just get you the money, but focus on something that you're passionate about. And so once you're passionate about something, you do it without
Yeah.
even thinking about it. So, and I can see that when you guys commit yourselves, sometimes like you guys will have to sleep in the studio just because you have to air the program. I
Hmm.
feel like, well, we must learn to appreciate you guys for all of the sacrifices you made and that level of commitment. I mean, it's not easy to say. We tend not to appreciate the little things that people do. But I just want you guys to know everybody on here really do appreciate you guys for your work, and I'm pretty sure Liberians around the world do appreciate you guys as well.
Yes, and the platform day by day, it keep growing. Our audience, you know, in terms of listening, audience, it keep growing. At this time here, as soon as we reach between 8:30, 8:45, people start to get glued by the radio in Liberia to listen to Truth FM, closing argument. So the platform has getting big up, and this is where they feed that they got the best of information from. This is where they feel that the truth is told. This is where they feel that the reference information is given. So at this time here, just imagine across the city, across this country, because we cover the 15 counties. So
Oh
I'm
wow.
already yeah, I'm just imagining at this time how are people now at this time of the night hour grew by the radio and and listen to Truth FM, waiting to provide information, the best information for them, the truth.
That's good, and I think that's the beauty of this because you have a platform that presents diverse views. Nothing is pre-programmed. Everybody come out here
Mm,
with their independent mind and speak to the issue. You're not here propagating message for one side. You speak based on what you're confident about and what you're knowledgeable about. So I think that's the beauty of it, and thank God that our people are blessed with the platform. And for you guys, like I said, not to sound like I'm trying to beat the dead horse, but you guys are the ones who actually made it happen. We can only charm in based on our verbal contribution and the little sacrifices that we make. Probably have to leave work a little early to get here to be a part of the conversation. But other than that, you guys are actually sacrificing a lot, believe it or not. And for the people of Liberia, hopefully they see reason to continuously tune into Truth FM and be a part of the closing argument so that they are provided, authentic information. All right. Not one that is, literally covered with sentiment, emotion, and everything else.
Yes, that's just it, my brother. But that's it. As you said, it's called to serve. So good to be here Monday. A lot of things, so many trending things from the weekend to today. With the guys in going to court, the Supreme Court, please hold on to the access recovery team.
Hmm.
Yes, so they were invited. Those that were invited, these are the greatest ride commercial ride vehicles are out there. They were placed on hold by the Supreme Court. So we got information clearly that they have been given 5 days for now to Friday to definitely report with all documents of each of that vehicle. And the gracious ride is what been maybe been around the court as people been saying that it belongs to the former chief of protocol. That's Finna Bono.
Right.
That has been people saying, but for us, we saw it belongs to gracious ride the company. So we got information that they have been given 5 days from now to Friday to report with all documents of each of that vehicle. So they've been given 5 days. Yeah, the Supreme Court telling them that they should show up with all the documents to each of that vehicles so that they can go through the process.
Wow. Chairman Sanvee, welcome.
Hey, it's good to be here. Thank you, Lofa. How are you?
Good, good.
How was your weekend?
It was good. I was just telling Ansel, I
Hello.
felt it was a long weekend. It was a long weekend, but I felt like it was kind of short. I wasn't ready to go back to work yet.
Yeah, same. For some reason, myself feel the same way. I've
Yeah.
been working. I've been working, but it feels a little. It just feels weird, right? I don't know if
Right.
it's because it was Easter, but I felt like I didn't. I mean, I accomplished a lot today at work, but I just feel like I have not. Um,
That's that
you
is
know,
the
yeah.
total opposite from
Maybe
that, brother.
tomorrow I would get. Maybe tomorrow I will get
Getting your growth.
in my groove. I'll get my groove back. Ben will get his groove back tomorrow. See, Tomalin Nyenwolo George. The only man I get a closing argument politician, he ain't get or none.
Oh, guys, they're making new ones for you guys. You're relax. They're
That
giving
is,
them.
every time you ask him that, that's exactly the response you
They're
give.
making,
The
they're
door is
getting,
to,
Yeah.
I carry some librarian when I get there in June, so I carry a lot of stuff, a lot of closing home stuff, and then we got a lot of keychain and other stuff for the closing. I can make it get better. Don't worry.
there you go. Anyway,
But Ben, this weekend Ben will be in your city, and it'll be a sad occasion though. But we'll be there. We'll be doing we'll be celebrating the homegoing of our friend and his mother, Henry and Dubai Gina and his mother. And I know there will be a lots of Liberians coming from all over. The USA will be there. He was a man who was well known.
somebody got a feedback.
So,
I think
but
it's
we'll be
something.
there. We'll be there, and I'm sure we'll be. I mean, people who have not seen for years will all be there together and to celebrate our brother and his mother. It's a
True.
sad, will be a sad occasion, but we'll be there to celebrate and pay him
Yeah.
we'll send out.
Yes. It's a big deal. Everybody's coming. Lofa, I think Lofa said he's gonna be here, right? Yeah. Lofa, when you coming, Saturday or Friday?
No, actually, the event is on Saturday, right?
It's on Saturday, right? I mean, but people are coming in from
Yeah, but
Friday.
Yeah,
So
I'll
the
come.
week
But
is
I'm only 2 hours away, so I'll just
yeah.
drive in on Saturday
the
and
week
leave
is
on
the week is
Sunday.
Friday, so we'll be there
Oh,
for
it's
the
You
Friday?
weekend.
here Friday, Tomine?
The week is Friday.
That's why I said you would be here Friday.
I'll be there Friday. Yeah.
Okay, great.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, so everybody's coming. I mean, a lot of people are coming, and Bello was a very popular guy. I think it's coupled with the fact that he did a lot of invitations. He invited a lot of people because he was getting ready to bury his mom, right?
Yeah.
So he
Oh,
was
wow.
inviting a lot of people to mother's his mother's funeral, and then he unfortunately passed. So there's like a combination. So it's going to be a big funeral. In fact, I've been told I was having a conversation yesterday with some of the other folks. who was telling me about the plans. You know, the church is so small, so even the place they're supposed to have the repast, they're trying to put tents outside in the parking lot, right? Because the good news is that where they're having it is kind of like in I know I've been there before. It's like it's one of the very few Liberians owned businesses here. It's like a hall, it's a really nice hall.
Okay.
But she's in like this place is in like a what do you call this place, man, Lufa? The mall, like a mall. It's like a strip mall, right? So she has there's a whole area that has a lot of parking. So they're looking at, so you know, a lot during the funeral, you see people park. People will literally just be outside in a car,
Right.
fellowshipping and stuff. And I think that's what he would have wanted, right? He was a happy guy. He was not one of those people who, was very sad. He was a very happy guy. So I think he would want people to literally celebrate his life and the life of his mom. So we'll be here to welcome you guys. We I already told my wife to she said, I told her, I said, we everybody come here, so I beg you, I don't want no.
No,
Yes,
Sita, it's okay. You want to come on? Come on. I'm pretty sure. Milwaukee, but not Milwaukee. Charlotte is going to be open to you. So come on.
Who's that?
Sita said she wanted to come.
Yeah.
I get what I give me hard time every day on this show.
She doesn't
By the way,
orange one.
Anyway, tonight we'll be having for the first time the acting chairman of the main opposition party and the largest opposition party in the country, the Congress for Democratic Change, by extension the coalition. Janga K. Kowo will be our guest. I heard he's already in the studio, right? Already prepared. Right, Kev?
Yeah, it's prepared. We're just waiting on, the link. Matter of fact, he just texted me for it, so I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I
studio.
Yeah, I don't know what studio doing.
It's not FM is asking for a link. You're please
Yeah, I don't know. It's
Did you get it?
Lofa,
the link you got, Lofa, can you share with the other guys?
Do something quick, yeah, Lofa.
Sure.
Share with Robert and the other guys and who asked for the link.
Okay.
Big show today. Looking forward to asking the chairman, the acting chair of the CDC, some questions about where the plans are, what's going on. We look forward to engaging. Ansu, how are you? I didn't even speak to Ansu since I came on. Ansu, it's good to see you. How are you? How's the town? How's everything going? How you guys holding up? You muted, Ansu. I can't hear you. Anyway, I don't think he can.
And also,
good to be back. Yeah, Judas, I was just talking about the holiday. I was just telling him, I said for us here, there's no holiday, there's no weekend for us. So it's how we decide to serve our country. So whether it's holiday, whether it's weekend, we are always here, and it's because of our people we are here, and because we are here, it's why they are out there and grew by the radio. So it was a long weekend, but good.
The great
It was holiday weekend, like Easter.
That statement got plenty of code in it.
I say, when you say Ansu, I say a holiday weekend.
No, I say a cafe code, chief. A cafe code. When a veteran can understand what kind of language it is. Yeah,
the best speaking algorithms. Algorithms, sir.
You gotta understand the code for you to know what I mean. You gotta understand the code for you to know what I mean.
And today the closing argument through one of our members, Peter Curtis, the honorable the vice president of the country. Yeah, so you got a picture?
Which one?
You didn't see Peabody with it?
Yeah.
Where people? Where? I didn't see it. Where is it?
The closing argument, Peter Curtis, the vice president today in Liberia through Dr. Peabody.
Wow.
Yeah, he was granted audience with the VPN.
Yeah, you'll send a picture to Lova.
Yeah, send a picture. I put a picture. That's a big deal.
Kev, send a picture now.
Come on,
I
send
don't
a
have a
picture.
picture, my man. What picture?
That be gonna.
Can you send a Joey a picture?
If people have never we had to do that, you'll be sending a picture.
Oh, but Biden need to go see the former president. All right, yeah, go see the former president.
Courtesy call on the former president.
The former pay a courtesy call on the former president.
Yeah. Lova, come and send you the picture. I don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead, send a picture. Send a picture. Like Keff Hassan go eat his picture.
The man had a lengthy one-on-one tete-a-tete with the vice president. Peabody had he's holding discussions regarding Ghana. The refugees in Ghana. Obviously, he represented the closing argument very well, and having conversations about trending issues in the country, how we can, hold the government accountable. And the vice president, we want to thank Vice President Coon for always being gracious and
Right.
and opening his arms. And even when you call him, I sent it to you on WhatsApp.
Okay.
Across Africa.
Okay.
Yeah. So even when you reach out to him, he's always willing to listen. We're having conversations, and so we want to thank Peabody for his strong representation, very very strong representation of the issues, of the issues that that he raised today with the vice president. The vice president was very gracious in accepting his thought process and all the other things that come with where he went to represent us and where he went to talk about. So we wish Peabody well on his next set of visit to the country. His next as long as he's going to be staying, and then we wish him well on on the stay.
Yes, it's in the back.
Yeah. We're gonna.
And just to do follow up on the chairman, what you said, his office is open in terms of welcoming people to listen. Group of motorcyclists again over the weekend. They can pause. Then that the government trying to put this restriction on. They can pause and on the sidewalk setting of gasoline. So again, group of can pause in over the weekend. Took the time to went to the VP house. And it was just say difficult to see the VP, to see him a bit too high. Again, his doors were open to them, and they had a good conversation. And he promised them that he's going to, to meet the president, where generally they're going to see the issue. I think they're calling on time for the government to give them time to leave the sidewalk. It was just 2 or 3 days I think in place with them, but they are saying they need around 6 months because of the time at least to get adjusted now. I can't manage. So it's not easy. They are important in that hour too, especially when we come from 10 around sometimes they don't want to get help.
Yeah.
So like break down the highways.
Yeah, well, one of the things we're going to be having a conversation about with the chairman of the CDC is also some of the things we're going to be talking to him about some of these things, asking him what's the CDC's position on some of these policy decisions that the government has made. How do they intend to represent the opposition in having conversations with the government? Those of us who are in the opposition, what are they doing as the lead opposition party to bring the opposition together? There's a lot of splinter here and there. So we're gonna make sure that we have a firm conversation with the chairman of the CDC. But Lofa, any thoughts before before we bring on the chairman of the CDC on this meeting with the vice president?
I mean, I thought it was a great thing. I'm glad that he actually reached out there. Dr. Peabody is trying to bridge the gap here, reaching out in the interest of Liberians. I mean, I must commend him. I'm glad to see that Liberian is actually thinking about his fellow Liberians. Some of us will leave for here. We'll go meet with the president or vice president. We'll be pushing our resumes. But I see here the brother is actually making a case for other Liberians who sincerely need the help in Ghana. So I mean, I'm very glad that he's doing that, and I'm proud to share a platform with such personality. To be honest with you, that speaks volume, and put us in a position where all of us should thrive to kind of mimic these kind of behaviors in our society to hopefully create opportunity for other Liberians. So, congratulations to the man Peabody, Dr. Peabody. I see the man smiling a little bit, but come back. We'll talk about it in the back.
I know. Well, we don't want to waste too much time. Tomalin, you can take over and
Yes.
let's try to bring the
Just
chairman.
bring in the chairman of the acting chairman
Before
of
you can take it down.
Okay.
the main opposition party and the largest chairman, Janka Augustus Kowo.
Mr. Chairman, can you hear us? Can you hear
Good
us?
evening. Good evening from our end.
Okay, the chairman can hear us live.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, do you have something else you are listening to? Because we're hearing a feedback. See, it's a little lower.
Can you hear me?
Yes, you're loud and clear, but can you hear us directed to the stream yard where you're listening to, or are you listening to something else? Are you listening to another device?
No, I just need to mute. Okay, mute
Okay,
this.
if you got your phone,
Yeah, it's much better. We can hear you now. Just says, can you hear us directly now?
Yeah, mute.
Yeah, can you hear us directly?
Yeah, I'm hearing you directly.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect.
perfect.
Come on in. Go ahead.
Okay, Chairman Kowo, welcome to the closing argument for the first time. It's a pleasure to have you as the acting national chairman of the main opposition and largest opposition party in the country. There have been a lot. So just tell us, man, how's how your family? How you doing? How the CDC and everything before we get started?
Well, we are thankful to the Coalition for Democratic Change. We are thankful to His Excellency President George Manawia, the National Executive Committee of the Congress for Democratic Change, and by extension, the Coalition for Democratic Change, for our ascendancy to the position of acting national chairman of the CDC. These are critical times in the life of the CDC, just after losing our elections. So assuming the chairmanship is a challenging one, but we are hopeful that we'll put all hands on deck. We'll try to build a team that will rebuild the party, rebrand the party, and take the party to 2029 and eventually democratically recapture power in 2029. So we are very hopeful. This is not a sprint, this is a marathon. And so we are trying to get ourselves psychologically prepared. We are trying to get ourselves intellectually prepared. We are trying to get ourselves politically prepared to confront the challenges that lie ahead. And so I think we are ready. Our people are spirited, though we are still agonizing over our defeat, but I think that the people are hopeful. People are hopeful, yeah.
Okay, let me just make an introduction. We'll go around the room. We are live on Hard FM. We are live on True FM and on YouTube and across the country on several local radio stations across the country. This program has been streamed live. But as you all know, you know me already. Since Tomalin George, you guys introduce yourself and go around the panel so we can give the chairman. Yes.
Well, Chairman Kowo, Lofa Julius, as Tomalin rightfully stated, great to have you on here today. Feel at home and be a part of the conversation. Liberians are listening to you, and I hope that you can bring home the information that they are thirsty for. Welcome to the closing argument, and we will do the best we can to host you.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Robert.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Welcome to our platform, the closing argument. You have thousands of folks watching, and thousands others are listening to you across the country. And so I believe this is an opportunity to introduce yourself and expand on some of what you've mentioned in your introduction. And so, again, welcome to the closing argument. It's going to be a little firing. I have a few questions already for you. So I know that you are prepared to answer some questions and engage with dialogue with us. So, again, welcome to the show. Thank you.
Well, Mr. Chairman, we need no introduction. It's good to see you. Look forward to engaging you. I'm going to sit back a little bit, let the rest of the other folks ask some of the questions. I do have some questions for you, but it's good to be here. It's good to see you. It's good to and congratulations again publicly on your ascension to the chairmanship of your party and of the coalition. And we look forward to working with you and having some constructive conversations moving forward. And just for the record, I have publicly stated that we are aligning with the CDC in our opposition journey. And I want to make it clear. I don't want to hide it from anybody. So before they think I'm joking, I'm not joking. I think the CDC represents the future when it comes to the voting population and the things that we want to see. CDC is not perfect, but I think our alignment with the CDC is in the right direction. So I want to thank you and welcome.
Ben, quickly, for the sake of we asking who?
What do you mean we as in who? What do you mean?
You said we are lying.
You know, politicians, when politicians speak, they use we. They say we, you know.
Is it LP or just Ben?
No. When I'm breaking no news, yeah, LP will make a decision for us.
Kerabo?
Something came in last, so let Kev introduce himself.
Man,
No,
relax.
go ahead, man.
Yeah, forget it. Come in.
Kev needs no introduction. That's why.
I don't think I need an introduction to the chairman. The chairman and I know each other, at least. So, I'm Kelabo Bello for the listening public. I'm a visitor here. I don't know what I should come and say a panelist for the closing argument because
you're a guest panelist.
Yes, I'm not in the chat room. But yes, it's an opportunity to actually engage the chairman of the largest opposition group. There are some questions we're going to ask her today. Some of the questions that we should be asking behind the scene, but because we don't have anyone to talk to in the CDC, we'll be asking it publicly. I just want to let this out as we begin.
And Kefiko.
Well, my honorable chairman, welcome to the closing argument, sir.
Let's get straight. We're out of time. Let's move on. Mr. Chairman, the election results, CDC 49.6.3%, the Unity Party 50.6%. The very close election. Since the election, there have been a lot of things happening, and the CDC, I know there have been, in fact, recently you guys communicated to the international community several issues you got lined up against the ruling Unity Party and so forth. But just, I will give you the time to just tell us, since the election what's been going on at CDC, you have a new chairman, you begin the acting chairman, congratulations. And where's the CDC right now, and what's the way forward right now concerning all the communications you wrote to ECOWAS, the UN, the US Embassy, and so forth?
Yeah, so like we said during our monthly press briefing, first we wish to announce that under our leadership, we will be conducting monthly press briefings on the activities of the regime. And we have started that process by documenting the excesses of the regime less than 100 days since it assumed office. The activity of the government has been erratic. In many instances, there have been violations of the laws of the country. In many cases, the government is behaving as if they came to power through a coup d'etat, and which is not the case. And so we have thought that the best way to deal with this government is to document them, because when we document them, we will hold them accountable to their actions. We hold them accountable to the violations. As you know, the elections were very close. The difference between the two parties is within a margin of error, which means if, for instance, if President Weah had proceeded to contest the results of the election in the court, an automatic recount would have been triggered. But he didn't opt to do that because, as the sitting president in his wisdom, he felt that it was not necessary to take the country through that route because of the tension that was existing in the country. And so he thought the best thing to do was to concede. Not his concession was not out of weakness, but was to further demonstrate his democratic credential, was to further demonstrate his patriotism, was to further demonstrate his love for country, and that he is not a man who was just after power for himself. And we arguably had done so well as a government in the 6 years. I think we have some issue with our propaganda and the advantage of that. And so we are going to be retooling, and we are going to be reorganizing, and we are going to be engaging the government to ensure that it delivers on its promises to the Liberian people. And we are going to be ensuring that we will try to hold the government accountable in instances where it will attempt to violate the laws of the country, like it is doing now, where arbitrary actions are continuing, where civil servants are being harassed across the government, where public servants are being harassed across state-owned enterprises, commissions, and other agencies, where the government is attempting to illegally appoint people into positions that are already occupied by people who have tenure, by Liberians who have tenure, who are protected by the tenure law. And you see the extrajudicial killings of our citizens during a peaceful protest in Grand Kidman County, totally unacceptable. You see the killing of a quote-unquote power theft suspect by the LDC power theft team that has the LMP embedded in there. So we think that those are dangerous signs for starting a regime. And so we think it is important that we keep them in check by documenting these things that they are doing, put on record. And the best forum we think that can happen is at the national legislature. And that's why we documented all of these SSs. We have communicated to the Speaker of the House of Representatives and the entire membership of the House of Representatives. We have communicated to the President pro tempore, because we think the government has a responsibility to keep the country stable, the country peaceful, but we think the government initial actions have the propensity to actually derail the peace of the country. It has the propensity to create unnecessary tension, and we think we should try to keep that in check. So these are some of the initial activities, and we will be engaging in a series of actions. We will shortly be establishing a hotline where citizens will be reporting their observations across the country. That hotline will be commissioned very soon, because we want to keep this government in check. And to keep the government in check is not necessarily engaging in provocative statements. No, that is not the path we want to go. We want to go to engage because in the time past, people have used comments to try to mislabel the CDC, have used statements to try to lie on the CDC. So we are going to endeavor not to create that opportunity for people to lie on the CDC anymore. We're going to engage them professionally, we're going to engage them technically, and we are going to ensure, we know there are various wings in the party, there are various sections of the party that may want things done differently. You may have people who are on the extreme left, you may have people who are on the extreme right, who want things differently, but we think uh, it serves sometimes the narrow interest. If you don't want your party misrepresented, you don't want people lied upon. How some of our officials are being lied upon and sanctions are being imposed on them. We think most of these sanctions are on the basis of lies that have been told against these people. So we must, and we'll be engaging the international partner to ensure that we prove the innocence of our executives. And we think, take for instance, sanctioning top officials of the government. In our opinion, that was constructive interference with our electoral process because it had the potential to play on public opinion, and so we think we're going to be engaging these partners, the U.S. government, to get additional information and to see how these people can be, these officials of our party can be given the opportunity to exonerate themselves.
Chairman Ben, you can kick it out.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Let me just pick up from what you just stated. Are you stating that the CDC, as a political institution, is going to be making representation on behalf of former officials of the Liberian government under the CDC administration? How you intend to do this? Are you engaging the U.S. government directly? Are you calling for them to turn over any evidence that they say they have? How do you push this to get your people off of sanctions?
So to the best of our knowledge, these allegations that have been levied against our members, we have not seen the evidence. We would love to see the evidence. I don't know whether these officials were not, to the best of our knowledge, they were not contacted, and the evidence against them due to them. So as a political institution, and these people were sanctioned in the line of duty. They were serving the party, they were serving the government of Liberia. And since these actions affected them while they were in the line of duty, we have an obligation to understand exactly what's happening. This is all part of the rebranding process. This is all part of the rebuilding process of the party. And this is all part of the constructive engagement with the international community and our partners to understand exactly where we may have gone wrong. Again, we are not claiming perfection, but we need to understand exactly some of the issues. We need to understand some of these issues. So that's going to be, because it's 6 years, and that's going to be one of our top priority to actually understand, because in our opinion, we are of the strongest convictions that many of these sanctions may have been wrongly placed based on misinformation, based on propaganda. And because these people were busy serving the country, they may not have had the time to adequately defend themselves. So we will be trying to reach out to understand. In addition to trying to make sure that our international partners, they should keep the current government in check the same way they were robust. Like I said in my last presentation, we have not seen a condemnation for the death of peaceful citizens, and speaking volume to us, because we think that way the non-condemnation of the death of peaceful protesters who embolden the current government to even engage in additional human rights violations. Okay. So we think it's very important. In less than 2 months in office, and nobody should die at the hands of the police. In 6 years of the CDC government, no Liberian died at the hands of the police during a demonstration. So we cannot condone, we cannot countenance, we cannot tolerate our citizens dying in less than 2 months at the hands of the police. And there appear to be a tune being set at the top, because under the CDC government, under President we are the police were under strict instructions to exercise the maximum of restraint, not to use live bullets. In fact, they were in most instances instructed and mandated to provide water and food to protesters. Okay. But for the government of the Unity Party to come to power in less than 2 months, and people are dying at the hands of the police, that is quite concerning, and that is quite condemnable, and that is totally unacceptable.
Okay, thank you. Let me ask you a question. Do you, one of your members, one of your senior executive members, former representative Akaros Gray, right, recently stated I've been seeing him post. I think other members, former Superintendent John J. Bagbe actually called on this show and announced that April 6th they're planning some kind of a demonstration. Is this demonstration being backed by the CDC? Because let me put it in context for you. When the June 7 protest was planned by the COP, you had prominent opposition leaders attending that protest, meaning they endorsed the protest, right? I think every prominent opposition leader at that time attended the June 7 protest. Cummings, Buckeye, Ure, Bromsky wasn't in the country, so I think, but Yombly was there, everybody was there, right? My question is twofold. Is the CDC backing this April 6th protest? And are we going to see former President George Weah during the protest? Because he's the most formidable opposition leader right now in the country, right? So I need to know that, and then obviously, are you guys backing this protest, and will you guys be attending?
So at this stage, what I can say is that the CDC has not endorsed our protest.
Okay.
We have the CDC has not made a decision to endorse our protest. But what we can say, any group of citizens have the right to protest within the confines of the law. Okay. So we will not be interfering with our protest. We have not made a decision to officially back the protest as a political party. And so, but like I said, all citizens of the Republic have the right to exercise their democratic franchise, have the right to exercise their freedom of assembly within the confines of the law. So while the CDC has not officially, endorsed, but we think all citizens of the country, Honorable Akaras Gray, as a citizen of the Republic of Liberia, as a political leader of the country, former representative of District Number 6, has got the right constitutionally, once within the confines of the law. But as a party, we have not reached that decision.
Okay, when you say have not, do you plan to? Is this open for discussion? Are you looking at it?
So there are discussions. Okay. There are discussions being had. Okay. Consultations are at this stage. The CDC has not endorsed protest, but like I said, we do recognize the rights of Honorable Gray and any other citizens of the Republic of Liberia to exercise their freedom of assembly, freedom to demonstrate, freedom to air whatever grievances they have against the government. We will not be interfering with our right.
Okay.
Once we know they will be within the confines of the law.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Next person. Good comment.
Lofa.
Well, Mr. Chairman, let's start off with, I know Ben kind of touched on this a little bit, but I just want to get your honest reaction to the just ended election. You think Liberians were just fed up with the CDC government and the level of immaturity to some extent that exhibited during the CDC government, for which they walked away from you and elected the UP government?
So my reaction to that question would be, like I said, the victory of the Unity Party is within the margin of error. And what that means is it's possible CDC won the elections because it's less than 1%. If an automatic recount had been done, maybe CDC would have emerged victorious. So I wouldn't say that the Liberians were fed up with the CDC and so voted against the CDC. No, it was a close elections. It is possible that the CDC may have won the elections, but the president elected in his wisdom now to try to push the issue of recount that was legally permissible because of the slimness of the margin. So having said that, you see that the country is nearly equally divided. But the president took the high ground as the sitting president of the country, and because the opposition community was already engaging in a lot of electoral violence. People were killed in Lufa, people were killed in Morovia, people were being killed in the name of politics. And in his wisdom, and you see he's being praised in Liberia and all over the world. And so we welcome his decision for the early conception, though, is in the view of many parties is painful, but he did it in the national interest. And we think on the issue of the popularity of the party, definitely the party is still popular. Governing a poor country like Liberia, that the Unity Party, will realize in the next 6 years. And as the know from the 12 years that they govern, it's not easy. It's not easy to know. And so they were being, in many instances, discussed. Some of their criticism were out of dishonesty, quest for naked power. But they do understand Liberia is not a rich country where resources are just packed up in the bank. No. And so, if you ask me, the CDC is still a strong political party, very vibrant, is support base, is very, very strong. And so we are just going to reassure our people. We'll be looking out to ensure that we give them reassurances that their rights, we will ensure. One thing we can assure our partisan is that we will ensure that their rights will be protected. Like they were protected in the last 6 years. In the last 6 years of the CDC government, you didn't know the difference between a CDC person or Unity Party person because all persons were treated equally. And that's why it is quite surprising that the Unity Party is being disruptive by engaging in wage hunting civil servants, by trying to wage hunt people in tenure positions, because we largely didn't bother civil servants or public servants when we got to office in 2018. We challenged anybody. There were very few instances of harassment because, again, that was the direct mandate of President Weah to make sure no Liberian should be targeted and removed from job because all Liberians have got the right to work. And so that's why we went on with that particular mandate. That's why there was no mass dismissal across government, as you are seeing across the government now. It's quite, frustrating that a government that was in power for 12 years we inherited a civil service of the.
I think he kind of froze out there.
Are you getting me?
Yeah, I'm hearing. Go ahead.
We didn't attempt, and that was clear instructions from the president not to victimize Liberians because they were Unity Party or from other party. No, because Liberia is a small country. We should try to keep the peace. We should try to unite our people, and that's what we did in 6 years. Although people try to downplay what we did, I heard one of the officials from the Ministry of Finance said the government people is rotting. That statement is very laughable because when we came to power in 2018, there was no payroll. The government of the United Party 12 years, they didn't have a national payroll. The CDC government in 6 years created a national payroll that was audited by the GSC. When we took over in 2018, after 12 years of the Unity Party government, there was no payroll. And quote me, there was no national payroll of the Liberian government after the Unity Party. You have scattered documents all around the place, general allowance, special allowance, honorarium, you have scattered around the country. On the compensation reform of the CDC government today, we assemble a national payroll that with a click of a button, the Minister of Finance, the President, the Controller, Accountant General can log on to a system and see all the employees of the central government of Liberia. So for somebody to say the payroll is rotten when you didn't even have one, it's quite laughable.
Okay, thank you. My second question have to do with the issue of audit. Your government was opportune to have done audit. Okay, you refused to do it. You did not audit the government before you, and so you let it slide. Today, the UP government is saying they will audit your government, and in that light, as a matter of fact, they have instituted a task force that they consider the asset recovery team. What do you make of the asset recovery team, their recent action, and secondly, would you comply with the issue of audit and possible prosecution of anyone who may be found guilty of being part of a corrupt system?
So again, and I am smiling because
Mhm.
I previously worked at the GAC, the General Auditing Commission. In fact, I was part of the team led by former Auditor General John Molu that reformed the General Auditing Commission. I worked at the GAC from 2007 to 2012 when I was illegally dismissed after the 2011 elections for political reasons. Today, I, along with several staff, like I think 40 or 50 staff of the GAC who were illegally dismissed by the UP government in 2012, our case is still in court. But on the issue of audit, anybody who says the CDC government did not audit, they don't understand audit. They don't understand audit. People who are talking about audit, oh, they will audit, they will audit. They don't understand. And I want to point out here that in 2018 was a democratic transition, which means integrated institutions of Liberia were not touched. Their activities, their work was uninterrupted. The GSC has been conducting audits. So anybody who say, oh, well, audit, they don't understand because audits is continuous. The mandate of the GSC does not stop because CDC government comes to power. The mandate of the GSC does not stop because United Party government comes to power. Anybody who say, oh, well, audit, you don't understand what audit is. Because audit is a continuous process, it's part of the governance process of the country. So audits during the CDC government, audits have been conducted. During the United Party government, tons and tons of audits were conducted. Those reports are available. CDC government, tons and tons of audits were conducted. Those reports are available. So anybody who talking about audit, then you don't understand because audit is a continuous process. It's not an event. It does not require one government coming to power because the mandate of the GSC does not cease because United Party comes to power or does not start because GSC because a United Party government comes to power does not stop because CDC government comes to power. So anybody who talking say, oh, audit, I mean, they don't understand what they're talking. So that's why in some cases I tell my colleagues, let not comment on that because anybody who say, oh, will audit, I mean, you don't understand elementary governance. It's an ongoing process. Audit has been taking place. CDC coming to power in 2018, they didn't start audits. The audits were done by the GSC, the reports are there. United Party government coming to power will not stop GSC from auditing because GSC is untouched by the transition. At least the United Party government has not, they have not tried to tamper with the GSC. We didn't tamper with the GSC as a government, the CDC government. So this institution, these institutions were intact. So these integrity institutions that says their work have been unhindered. Their work was undisturbed by the CDC government. So the reports, audits have always been taking place. So the issue of audit, and I would talk and say, oh, audit that you don't understand. Because audits has always been going on. The GSC has always been auditing, the reports are there.
Thank you. Except that you did not act upon any of those audits. Thank you.
Robert.
Thank you. Look, Attorney, again, welcome to the platform. I just for clarity purposes, before I ask my question, you are the acting chairman, are you?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I just want to make that clear. Now, I listened to your interview the other day, and let me just set the premise. I concur with you, and not just citizens, but every other private citizen in our country, that the access recovery team have in fact done everything but conducted themselves outside of the confines of the law and the constitution of our country. What they did, seizing properties and then saying, I will investigate, because there are sources and there intelligence that raises question about how one acquire a certain properties, makes absolutely no sense. And instead of identifying assets that should be recovered, investigating thoroughly, getting their information, and then communicating via the court system, which is how it's done in a civilized society, giving the opportunity for folks who may have been identified as folks who have acquired state-owned properties illegally or questionably to return them or face charges. They've done it the other way. And so if that were to happen to me, I know I will be furious and I will be taking action. But this is what you said on your recent interview. You said that citizens must resist the assets recovery team if actions is not backed by law. I want to give you an opportunity to expand on that a little bit. What do you mean by resist? What kind of resistance are you talking about? I'll tell you this. If anyone comes into my compound, or if I'm driving a vehicle and anyone comes and stop me, you either take me along with the vehicle dead or you leave my vehicle alone. So I want you to be very explicit, because the access recovery team needs to do the right thing. They are not. So what resistance are you referring to when you say resist the access recovery team?
So resistance will take many forms, and it will be in the best interest of the country if the asset recovery team stick within the confines of the law, because not every citizen will respond in the same manner. Because under the Constitution, people do have the right to self-defense. So if you are attacked illegally, somebody could try to defend themselves. If you arbitrarily try, for instance, to do property seizure without the necessary legal backing. So that resistance could be in many forms. Like you see, the petitions were filed at the Supreme Court where vehicles that were seized were retrieved. So that's one form of resistance. Another form of resistance. So we talk about every legal form of resistance. Every legal form of resistance should be utilized, because the first thing we think, the asset recovery team, if you look at their mandate, we don't know whether you don't already have statutory institutions that do have this mandate already. So that's the other issue, because you have statutory. Because you do issue executive order in instances where there is a void in the law, where the law does not cover certain action, and then so the chief executive, the president, will issue an executive order to provide a remedy, and within 1 year, the legislature will pass law to fill that void. But in this case, we don't see the void. You already have existing institutions of the state that already have the mandate that is being given to the asset recovery team. And if you see the way the asset recovery team is proceeding, it's a recipe for confusion. And so we are calling on the government to respect the laws of the country. Because as a government, if you do not respect the laws of the country, you are creating the basis for chaos. You are creating the basis for chaos.
Let me push you a little bit.
To respect the laws of the country.
Let me push you a little bit before I ask my last question. Let me push you a little bit. Tomorrow morning, you're driving in single. In your car, there are questions about how you acquired that vehicle, and you're stopped by the access recovery team to turn that car over. What would be your resistance in that moment?
So like I said, so people will respond. People will respond in one way. Rabbi Gagua will respond in another way. Chairman Ben Sanvee will respond in another way. So again, you cannot predict the response of individuals.
How would Mr. Kouy respond?
So come again?
How would you respond?
So if I were confronted, the first thing I would assert my right. I will assert my right. In asserting my right, maybe the team will try to use force. We try to use force, and in that process, violence could ensue. That's what we are saying. Violence could ensue. So people will respond in different ways. So that's why the government should refrain from trying to do anything illegal. Because if I'm in my vehicle, my papers are correct, my driver license is correct, my registration is correct. And so that's why, because the government has got the responsibility to inspect those documents. The police has the right at any point you ask for your registration, ask for your driver license, and if they are incomplete, they will pack your car and say, oh, you need to go and pay. But if all of those are correct and they try to take seize of a vehicle, they will need a court order. They will need a court order. So that's the law. You need a court order to seize anybody's property. You cannot just get in the street. You in the street, the police has got a right to stop you, to inspect your documents, to inspect your papers. But the police cannot seize your property without probable cause and without providing some evidence to the court. And we should not be saying this because the government should be aware. The Ministry of Justice should be aware. The chairman of the asset recovery team is a lawyer. He should be aware. So this is not something we should really be having this discussion about. So if you were stopped and you feel that somebody is you could respond in any way. And what we are saying, and the citizens have the right to respond to defend themselves legally within the confines of the law. And that's what people are saying. Oh, some people are trying to mischaracterize because that's what they do. They try to allow the CDC. We are not calling for violence. No.
Thank
This
you.
CDC administration will not call for violence. But the government is under obligation to keep the peace. Because that's what it was elected to do. It has been inducted into office. It has got the Liberian people work to do. The government should not be the one violating the laws of the country. Because people could respond differently. And when people respond differently, it could result into violence. It could derail the peace of the country. It could undermine the civility of the country, it will undermine the democratic process, it will undermine the whole democratic transition that we are all toting around. And that's what we are saying. The government should be warned to keep within the confines, because nobody should be trying, because citizens should not be pushed to take the government to court. Because the citizens don't have money to be taking government to court, no. So suppose the government will violate your right and you must go to court. Who's going to pay your attorney fees to go to court? No. The government should not put any citizen in the position where you have to go to court to defend it. No. No, the government should not do that. The government should not push Patrick Suru to go to court. No, the government should not do that. The government should respect the right of Patrick Suru. The government should respect the right of gracious right. Because these are, entities of the state that have got the legal right to enjoy the freedom of movement. The freedom of movement is a constitutionally guaranteed right that should not be infringed upon, save for a court order. Only the court has got the right upon the right to move. But if somebody jumps in the street, no agent of the state has got the authority to get in the street. So if the police is doing routine search, that could be interpreted as being in the interest of public safety. That will be understood.
Thank you. And I think that I need to give you the opportunity to expand on that, because I noticed that it was a topic on the question, and I think you spoke well on that issue. Last question I want to ask you is it's about rebranding. There's no question about the popularity of the CDC. There's no question about the fact that George Weah remains one of the most popular figures, not only nationally, but internationally when it comes to Liberia. There's no question about your 6 years. Look, there were things that were done, and there were questions and tough questions that you will probably have to answer many, many months and years from now. But I want to talk about this rebranding. I want you to point out two integral pieces when it comes to rebranding. What it is that you are going to focus on. I think you mentioned something about the fact that information dissemination was an issue. You talk about the CDC creating, for the first time after 12 years, the national payroll system. These things were not talked about during the elections. We had the former vice president on his platform talking about what the government did when it came to fighting drugs and reintegrating these folks in different counties, right? These things were not talked about on the campaign trail. These things were not talked about throughout the 6 years period of the CDC, that government. There were things you did not do right, which dominated the press. But what you did right, all of what you achieved over the 6 years period, did not talked about. Are you going to focus more on the rebranding process that speaks to the successes of CDC and the successes of the president, the former president? What would be the centerpiece of this rebranding process?
So you got it right. I think the CDC government was so busy with governing that we overlook propaganda. And it's propaganda that almost divided the country on CDC. It's mere propaganda that divided the country on CDC. It's not really on the basis of facts. Because if you take the facts, if you take Unity Party 12 years, just oppose it to Unity Party, to CDC 6 years, you will see that the CDC will come out arguably in flying colors. Arguably in flying colors. But because maybe we de-emphasize our messaging. We de-emphasize our messaging. We didn't properly sell the tuition-free policy. The tuition-free policy, for instance, at the University of Liberia is so revolutionary that it has changed public sector education forever. No government, Unity Party cannot even attempt to play with the free public education. It cannot attempt to play with that. Because that will be totally rejected by the Liberian people. The Unity Party will have to continue to pay for the WAS fees for 12th graders. Because Liberia is a poor country. If you pay $60 for each 12th grade student for about 50 or 60,000 students, that is equal to social cash transfer to 60,000 families across the country. So these were decisions that were made. National payroll, 12 years, Unity Party ran the government without payroll. The payroll was scattered. You had the period where people in similar positions were making, there was wide disparity between ministers. Ministers were making 15,000, 20,000 across the government. Under the CDC government, so when we rebranding, we were catalog, we were document all of the gains of the CDC government in 6 years, and we will market it because as time goes by, the Liberian people will see the stark difference between the CDC government and the Unity Party government, as they have already seen. In 6 years, freedom of speech was at its peak. In 6 years, freedom to demonstrate, freedom to protest was at its peak. In 6 years, no, there was no political prisoner in Liberia. So we are waiting to see. Because you see what's happening with people trying to arrest people, the Patriot Sudu, other people. If Patriot Sudu has resisted the seizure of his vehicle, he probably would have been taken, he probably would have been arrested and thrown into prison. Well, he opted, like I said, that's how people respond in different ways. Not everybody will respond like Patriot Sudu. But Patriot Sudu is a former police director, and he chose to be very civil with the team. He chose to waive his right. But other people will not respond in that manner. That would not be good for the country. So we'll be documenting all of the gains of the CDC government in our rebranding process, because we have accomplished so much. If you look at in the area of rural connectivity, we have done so much in rural connectivity. We built a lot of hospitals around the country. We provided free education. See the parks. So people don't even understand this thing. See the parks that the CDC government has built. These things look so new to the Liberian people. Go to PHP every evening, and you'll see that Liberia has changed. Because you see recreation. So in the next 5 years, you will see stars will emerge from Liberia as a result of these parks that you see around the country. That's how you change the country. You don't change the country by anti-rhetorics, no. And that's why we respect our president, His Excellency George Manneh, because he's a man of action. He's a man of wisdom. He believes, he sees a problem, he goes to solve the problem. When AU student was demonstrating in 2018, he assembled a team and asked few questions. The government was already spending around 18, 19 billion on the university. So he asked, what's the marginal difference that will make all of these students to go to school free? It was around 1 million per semester, 1.2, 1.3 million per semester. He asked, so can the government of Liberia not afford to pay this money on behalf of this? Because evidently the students don't have the monies to pay. So that was the rationale for the free education policy. And people think it was knee-jerk. No. Those were decisions that were made based on need, the need of the population. Although Although our detractors tried to even turn, they tried to convince even some students at the university that the free tuition policy was bad for the country. So we're going to be trying to message. We're going to be trying to send out. We're going to be stressing the positive because you see, our detractors are looking for the slightest comment. So, for instance, when I said sedition, the former government should be exist, the asset recovery team, it's been taken out of context because few persons. So you are no. We are saying the government has got the responsibility to respect the law. You cannot be asking citizens to respect the law. The government must be first and foremost to uphold the law. And so people are looking for negative news from the CDC. So some people, even in the CDC, think the chairman should be come and say this. No, we are not going to go that route. We are going to go the route of dealing with facts. We are going to go the route of challenging the government on the substance, the merits, and documenting them on things that they are doing.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We want to also state, Mr. Chairman, join the conversation is flowing well. We're giving you enough time to answer, which is good because we want our audience to learn from you and to listen to you. We're not in the business of interrupting you, but we also want you to just be cognizant because we have other panelists who will want to ask, and we don't have a lot of time with you. So Mr. Gonglo will go next. I think Robert is done, right? Robert, you're done with your two questions?
Yes.
All right. Thank you,
Keff will waive his questions. Don't worry. He doesn't.
Keff shouldn't ask question.
Yeah. So don't worry.
Oh no. Thank you, Chairman.
Go ahead.
Good to meet again. To see again. I have a lot of questions, but some of these questions are questions I would have loved to ask in the background, but
so you got me out of in the front.
No, I'm going to ask in the front because hey, I don't know who to speak to in the city.
Sorry, go ahead.
So my first question will be, we sit to watch news, we listen to different information. Of late, here is what the UP government has started to do. About 700 employees of the Ministry of State has been arbitrarily laid off, have been told to go home. And again, I watched on another video where another group of EPS staff have been sent to the beach. When they go to work, they just say, go lay down on the beach here in the sun and rest. I think I watched this on Abraham Goldstein Willen show,
Wow.
Is this for real?
Yeah, I watched the video. I mean, they talk to people. So, because they said these were higher honor CDC government, so they don't need a near President Walker. So then on top of it, and the shocking one is, and the big one is, the Director General of the Civil Service Agency held a press conference and categorically stated that all those who got on the payroll legally as of November 2023, he is going to wipe them out of the payroll. He thinks that you guys have lost the election and you're just bloated the payroll with your loyalists. I mean, it's a party aware of these things. Has a party discussed it, debated internally? Does a party have a position? My first question.
Okay, so I'm just actually hearing that.
I think
the CSA Director General.
I said I live here in the United States. I know it. I'm getting
Okay.
information
So
from the
if
press.
the CSA Director said that, then he's joking.
It was in the newspaper. In fact, it's on,
So if he said that, then he is joking. Because the government will not dismiss civil servants that were employed in November or December or January. So they can take that he's joking. And again, we want to send out this caveat, writing a letter to the Speaker of the House of Representatives and the Senate. The government should desist from the harassment of civil servants. Civil servants are citizens of the Republic of Liberia who have the constitutionally protected right to work. So wherever they have been employed to work, the government should not attempt to dismiss them on the basis that they were employed by CDC government. That would be very, very wrong. And I think if the CSA director said that, maybe he's joking. So we'll be trying to actually ascertain the facts. Because you cannot dismiss people just because they were employed in November. You don't have that right. You don't have that right to dismiss people they were dismissed they were appointed or employed in November, so you have the right to dismiss them. No. That we categorically reject that. On the CSA Director General, keep the peace. You are under obligation as a government to keep the peace. Do not tamper with the peace of the Liberian people. Because attempting mass dismissals of civil servants, you are trying to threaten the peace of the country. And we call on the national legislature, we call on the Senate, we call on the House of Representatives to warn the executive branch of government. Take seize of this matter. Do not allow a crisis situation before you try to intervene. International partners, do not allow a crisis situation before you try to intervene. You need now to talk some senses to whoever is attempting to tamper with the peace of the country by trying to dismiss people. We didn't dismiss all the people we inherited from the Unity Party in 2018. We didn't dismiss them. The EPS, go to the EPS. The EPS was untouched under the CDC government. Those who provided protection for President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf continue in many cases to provide protection for President George Weah. And the other issue, the level of disrespect, and we documented that in the letter to the legislature, the level of disrespect being shown to the former president is totally unacceptable. And where the EPS, the Executive Protection Service, has even got the guts to issue a press release about the former president's security, for us, that constitutes a threat to his person. And we're going to say it again. The release from the EPS saying that the government, there's no law requiring protection of the state for the former president. That constitutes a threat to the president. We want the president of Liberia to take note of it, because the EPS director works directly on his office. We call on the national legislature to take seize of that matter, because and we know that the EPS officers who are providing protection for the president are being harassed. Some of them are resigning. That is sad. That EPS officers that are providing protection for the former president are being made to resign from the EPS. That runs contrary to the spirit of the democratic transfer of power.
All right. So my second question would be, no, there's no doubt, like Chairman Ben said from the beginning in his opening statement, CDC is the biggest opposition party. There's no argument about that. In fact, in the last 18 years, I always argue that we're talking what we talk today about all of the pitfalls, the challenges with governance and what have you. We can attribute that to only United Party and CDC, because those are the two parties that have been in power for the past 18 years. I mean, United Party been 12 years and you 6 years. So there's no debate about that the voters have been gravitating towards CDC. But my question to you is, Mr. Acting Chair, what is your strategy as an Acting Chair, or come out of an election that once some of us are still thinking, how could you lose election by less than 1%? I mean, no. It's a true that maybe some powerful people somewhere in the world told President, we don't want you to be president, walk away. I mean, that he kept this close to his chest and said, you know what, I'm going to just walk away. Because no one can imagine that a certain president, not to talk about Africa, will lose the election with 17,000 votes, that you could find it right in Monrovia, but that's a different debate. My question is, what is your strategy to build a bigger opposition, platform, to have a bigger tank that you can bring people on? What is the strategy? What is it going to be like? This cavalier attitude that most Liberian political establishment have, that we are the biggest group. Anybody wants who can just come and join us. We're not going to do reach out. I mean, what is your strategy? I'd like to hear from you, because I think there are good will out there. There are
As
many
a party,
just coming under the realization that if you're going to be serious, think between Unity Party and CDC. Choose one of them and go there. So one has to be willing to embrace others in order to gravitate towards it. What is your strategy? He's frozen. I'm not sure if you hear me.
It's true.
Did you hear me, Mr. Chairman?
Can you kind of repeat your question?
Oh, my question is basically, what is your strategy to build CDC as a bigger opposition party, much more than what it is now? In compassing people like me, Ben Sanvee.
My political strategy area, right?
Yeah, I'm not.
I won't put my political strategy out here, but broadly speaking, we will be endeavoring to rebuild our coalition. The CDC won the election in 2017 based on building a broad coalition. We'll be looking forward to building even stronger. All the means possible to do that. We're going to be using all the means possible to do that. We're going to be reaching out because clearly, we are the party of the people. The CDC is the party of the masses. The CDC is the party of the Liberian people. And so we will be trying to sharpen that contradiction between the CDC and the Unity Party government. And in due time, we expect that Liberian people will see the difference as to which party is actually in the supreme interest of the Liberian people. Very soon, the Liberian people will begin to see a trend emerge that will show the dichotomy between the two governments. And we'll reach a point in the next 6 years, we'll be analyzing the opportunities that were available to the Unity Party from 2006 to 2017. We'll be doing our analysis for you. We'll be analyzing to see how much debt was waived, by the international community to the Unity Party when it came to power. We'll be analyzing to see how much debt they racked up. The Unity Party racked up from 2006 to 2017. We'll be doing that analysis and we'll show to you. We'll be juxtaposing that to what we did in 6 years clearly for the Liberian people to see. But in our opinion, we have the strongest conviction that our record, when put in the proper context, when put in the proper perspective, will speak to the fact that we are the better side to govern the country.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, let me just ask. We'll be going to the lines in the next 15 minutes. But let me ask.
Well, Kev.
Oh, Kev. Forget it. Sorry, Kev.
I know, Tomalin, forget about Mr. Chairman. Again, welcome to the closing argument. Let me ask you this. The presidential lounge was built and furnished by George Manuel Weah, former president of the Republic of Liberia. The old presidential lounge been there for a rack of ages, now up to standard. The former vice president, which is the president now, was vice president for 12 years. Never one day propose or come out and say, let's change the face, because the airport is one of the face of your nation with people coming there. It's a face. Let's change your face. Nothing. But this president, former president George Weah, decided to change the face of Liberia, like he did with the PHP Park, to change that dark place, one of the darkest place in our history, in our lives. Change that place. Now that place become a symbol of beauty for Liberians that we all can boast of. He changed the presidential lounge. Beautiful place. When you see that place at night, the light, beautiful place. But he was stopped to go into a place that he built and furnished and named it after his beloved wife. He was stopped. Is this the Liberia that we want? I want you to please talk about that.
So I think that was one of the saddest moments. Shameful, very, very shameful, embarrassing. Because why commendations were coming from every part of the world, commending President George Weah for conceding and keeping the peace with a narrow election, defeat, where he's being hailed, where he's being given accolades around the country, around the world, where he's being celebrated. The government that just took office was electing to be disrespectful to him. See how President Weah lived with former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. Even the issue of President Ellen Johnson security was never discussed. These are issues that we should not even be discussing. We should not be discussing the security protection of the former president. Common decency. That we should not even be having this kind of discussion. Common decency that we should not be discussing the use of the new VIP terminal by the former president, the immediate former president who built it, who in his wisdom said, "Oh, we need a better VIP lounge to cater to our VIPs, whether it be foreign president, foreign dignitaries, former head of states." In his wisdom, just as in his wisdom, when people talk PHP, where you could see the Sunni and the scent of feces, where he's transformed today into a modern park that you enter there.
Mr. Chairman, that's the internet you guys left for us.
Kev, I gotta say, man, that was very. I mean, the question the way you asked it, that was what you guys missed during the election.
But the guys, they didn't put in, they didn't emphasize information. They abandoned the Ministry of Information.
I think he's
few remarks.
He's back now.
He's going between trying to unmute and mute himself. There you go.
Yeah, he's back.
Yeah, so are you still with me? Are you still hearing me?
Yes.
So we are saying the incident at the airport was a national shame that should never have happened. Never. Should not have been permitted to happen. The issue of protection for the former president should not be an issue to be discussing as a country, because it should go without saying. In 6 years, I didn't hear issues about the protection of former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. No, it was seamless. It was the issue of the protection of former President Joseph Boakai. Those were things that were not even discussed because, as a matter of fact, those were things that were just, natural. But while we are discussing the protection of the immediate former president, who consider on less than 1% margin, who is being held all around the world, but he's being harassed by the government he turned power over to. What does that say about our country? What does it say about our democracy? So, I mean, the United Party did not go to war. It was not a coup d'etat. They came to power democratically. So the institutions of the state, and the former president is an institution of the state because his office is an institution of the state. Everywhere in the world, the office of former president are institution of the state. So I think it is out of naivety for anybody to say, oh, the state is under no legal obligation to provide protection for the office of the former president. I mean, you do not understand, and you are not fit to hold a position. You hold the EPS director, issuing director. He's not fit to be the EPS director because he does not understand the mandate of the EPS. Because the office of the former president is an institution of the state. And that's why it must be given protection. Precedents was set. So it was very embarrassing. And we hope we will not have a reoccurrence of disrespect. And we call on the government. That's why we have documented, and we hope the speaker, who is a member of the CDC, will take seize of the matter because we have complained. And people, we have filed a formal complaint because we think the House of Representatives is the forum where these people can be summoned, and we expect that the House of Representatives and the Senate will take action because their action will be helping to consolidate the peace and the governance of the country. You will not be doing a favor to the CDC by citing the EPS director for issuing a disrespectful statement to the former president. You'll be protecting the institution of the former presidency. President George Manuel Weah, because even Omen Barker will be former president after 2029, and he will deserve the respect and the protection of the state. And so these are common things. These are common things of common Liberian civics that we should understand. And that's what democratic transitions are for. That's what smooth transfer of power is intended for. So that there cannot be disruptions in the governance of the country. And democratic transfer of power help to deepen democracy. But we see what is being alleged, because I really want to see that document where the CSA Director General will say legally actions that were taken legally by the former government will be overturned because it happened in November. Are you kidding me? Kidding me?
Mr. Chairman, I'm glad you talk about the security and of the president, because I know we went to, at that time it was the former vice president, Tomalin, Ben and I, Peabody, and the rest of the guys, and were on another platform. We went there. He had a EPS security, even mixed up with some police. He had a whole security when he was former vice president. We also went to the former president Ellen. We visited Ellen to her private home. We had some nice time with Ellen at her private home. She had security, So we know, under the CDC government, they were protected. We know that. But there's a pattern here that I'm bringing. There's a pattern here. Under the Unity Party government, the police under the Unity Party government shot and killed a sedition at the party headquarters. Were killed. Protesters innocent protesters were protesting and by the constitutional right. They were killed. Now we're seeing the same thing happen in Kinshasa. You stand up for your right, were killed. Under the CDC government, what we saw the police did under the CDC government with protesters is to give them food, feed them. Under the leadership of President Weah, we saw President Weah police, as they call it in Liberia, Baka police, President Weah police, gave food, water and food to our people. No protester were killed under George Manuel Weah. No protester were killed. Who had the biggest, the June 7. If June 7 are happening under the Unity Party government, my brother Ben Sanvee may not be around, or Costa may not be around because of the pattern. The president said in his church, we will no longer stand aside again for one civilian to be killed. It should not happen again by the Unity Party police. Can you echo that to the Liberian people? Can you go on that and echo what the president said? Because there's a pattern here. I call it's a creeping danger. Mm-hmm. It's a danger in our society. It's your right to protest. That's your right. We're not saying go and destroy property. That's not what we're saying.
No.
We're saying peacefully. That's your God-given right, your constitutional right. If your soul happiness it be tempered with, that's what the Constitution say. So at this moment, because of this pattern, and the biggest opposition group, because they won election through the margin of error. Mm-hmm. The margin of error. Mm-hmm. That should automatically go to recount. Mm-hmm. So JMB don't have the mandate of the people because the country is split evenly. Mm-hmm. No mandate. And it's the right of the CDC to stand up and protect because people are dying by the hands of the police. Can you echo that? What the president said? Who will stand by the people?
So the president did send out a caveat that no more life should be lost at the hands of the police. No more life should be lost at the hands of the police. And we stand by that category. And we want to assure the Liberian people that the CDC stands with you in the exercise of your democratic right in all circumstances. In all circumstances where you are exercising your rights within the confines of the law of the country, the CDC stands with you. The CDC will go to every length to ensure that your rights are protected. And like we have documented the government, we call the government to refrain from any action on the part of the police that will lead to the loss of life. Because the basis have been set in Liberia in the last 6 years that people do have the right to demonstrate at any given point in time when their happiness and their safety and whatever grievance they have. That what happened yes, it was accepted, it was celebrated by the current government when it was in opposition. They participated in demonstrations and their rights to demonstrate were protected. There were no arrests, people were never arrested for protesting against the government. And so they should reciprocate. And that's why, like the president said, His Excellency John Manuel Weah said, the CDC will be standing with the Liberian people firmly. We want to call the government to desist from using the police. The police should desist from meting out brutality, resulting into death against peaceful citizens of the country. So we want to assure the citizens out there, like I said, we will be setting out a hotline here at the CDC headquarters, and we'll distribute the numbers where we'll have a secretariat that will be in the reposts from all around the country. And that we are going to do very shortly, because we may not be present everywhere, but we'll put in place the mechanism for our citizens to report violations and excesses of the police and any other apparatus of the state against citizens.
Okay.
So the Liberian can assure that the CDC is going to stand with them in the exercise of their constitutionally guaranteed rights.
Thank you.
So that,
Tommy, can I interject quickly?
yeah.
30 seconds.
Go ahead.
Okay, just quickly. My quick question, before I know we might be going to the phone line soon. Mr. Chairman, I'm asking you because there have been a lot of conversations going around. I've been privy to getting some information about some of these conversations with some constituent parties within your coalition, the MPP, the LPDP, other parties that came along to support you, the PLP and all these other parties. I have been informed that there have been series of meetings being held by stalwarts of these parties. In some instances, there have been conversations about possibly pulling away from the coalition for democratic change, which is not what I think anybody wants to see. What is you have been tasked with the responsibility as national chairman, to hold this thing together. What have you reached out? I mean, what is the current relationship with the former vice president? She's the standard bearer of the MPP. What's your relationship with the former the former senatorial aspirant, which is Moses Colley? I know he's the acting political leader of the LPDP. All these different players, we haven't seen them together with President Weah lately. What is going on? Can you assure the thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of people who came and voted for this coalition, that this coalition is not breaking apart, that we're not going to see people moving in different directions? So you are chairperson. I want you to speak about that a little bit. What are you doing right now? And can we go to bed thinking, being relaxed that this coalition is going to stay in place?
Definitely. The coalition is going to be even reconsolidated more. So, like, you know, we lost the election as a coalition. And so, like, we are all taking stock. The MPP, LPDP, everybody is taking stock. The former president has been engaged with all of these. The former vice president, they are talking regularly. The former president is talking to, Honorable Moses Colley regularly. The former president is talking to all of the actors. So we are planning these meetings. So definitely, we are it's a gradual process, but we can assure the citizens of Liberia that under the leadership of His Excellency President Weah, we are going to do everything to even broaden the coalition. We're going to do everything to solidify the coalition. We're going to make sure that all of the stakeholders
It's breaking.
We're going to build even a bigger coalition as we move towards 2029. Yeah, it may seem slow and gradual, but the president is engaged with all of these major players, the former vice president, President Madam, Joy Howard Taylor, Honorable Moses Colley, and the PLP. All of these people are being engaged systematically. And, it's just 3 months after the elections. So stock taking is taking place in all of the constituent parties of the coalition, but the coalition as a whole remains together, and we are planning a series of consultative meetings. The president has been having some meetings already. The president, like I said, is engaged with all of these major stakeholders. So very, very soon, you will see some of these things happen behind cameras, not everything you see on Facebook or picture, because electioneering is over. It's time for us to rebuild. So you're not necessarily going to try to rebuild in the face of the cameras. You got to try to build party, try to keep these discussions, off camera. So these discussions are ongoing. We're going to deepen the coalition. We're going to make sure the coalition is expanded. Even people that may have had issues with the citizens that left, we'll be reaching out to them to continue to tell them that the citizen remains your best option for governance in Liberia. So, in short, we want to assure the Liberian people that under the leadership of His Excellency, former President George Manuel Weah, the CDC will remain a strong and vibrant coalition as we move towards 2029.
Okay.
That be a show off.
So, Chairman, before we go to the line, let me just squeeze two here before we go to the line. The first thing, I'll put it in, I'll give you a double dose. Recently, the Unity Party-led government released the national budget, the draft budget. And I know you serve as the immediate past Controller General of the Republic of Liberia, right? Right?
Okay.
Yeah, okay. And in that budget, it talked about they allocated a lot of money for domestic debt. Maybe you can share a light about that domestic debt. And they are saying that CDC left a lot of domestic debt that were unpaid. A lot of bills were left, unpaid bills. I know government's continuity, but it's claiming that you guys left a lot of unpaid bills. And the second thing is that President, we have few months ago said in his chest that he wasn't going to run. But then again, Eugene Nagbe said on one of his interviews that President Weah will be on the ballot. Can you clarify that, whether the president will be on the ballot 2029, and also about the domestic debt that UP talk about? Thank you.
So basically what I can say is that as far as we know, President Weah will be on the ballot in 2029. President Weah, by 2029, will have rested enough and will be vibrant. President Weah is even more vibrant now, taking stock of the party. He's engaged with it. President Weah. As I speak to you, I'm speaking to you from the national headquarters. I'm at my office. We spend all day at the national headquarters. We come here every day. I'm staying in office. I'm speaking to you from the office of the national chairman of the CDC. President Weah was here. He left earlier. We are still here. So we are putting in all of the time to make sure that we rebuild, and then definitely President Weah is going to be on the ballot in 2029 and will definitely emerge and the victorious as the next president will be inaugurated come January 2030. Yeah, so that we can guarantee you.
Okay, how about the domestic debt that they say you guys?
So on the issue of domestic debt, again, people who don't understand the budget, we try to say, oh, we inherited, but we as a CDC government, we inherited the debt because when the Unity Party was in power for years, all of the loans, international, whether it's international, domestic, they sought a 10 years grace period. Most of the loans became due in December 2017 and some in January 2018. Take for instance for the CBL, CBL loan became due in January 2018. International debts, all the grace period expired in January. They were all set to expire in January 2018. Domestic debt, bank debts to commercial bank, yes. So the CDC incur some domestic debt, but it's not unusual because we inherited a lot of domestic debt from the Unity Party government. Of course, they inherited some domestic debt from the CDC government because government is continuity. These debt were incurred in the business of government, but I tell you, even some of the loans that were contracted, they were trying to draw a dichotomy between the loans from the CDC government and the loans from the Unity Party government. Most of the loans that were disbursed during the CDC government, those loans were contracted. They were projects that were signed off on that had already started under the Unity Party. The disbursement, they negotiated most of those loans already. So the disbursement was just happening in the CDC 6 years. So they cannot even say, oh, the CDC increased the debt. They are being dishonest if they say so. Because most of these contracts, about 75% of these contracts were already signed. Some of them have already been disbursed. Some of the disbursement has started. So CDC government only continue these projects. Some of these projects, the project teams were already in place. The disbursement, the projects are started. So of course, the disbursement continue. The staffing, most of the staffing, some of these already done by people who were recruited during the regime of the Unity Party. So they cannot say it's the CDC that increased, whether it's domestic or international debt. Because these projects were negotiated with international partners, whether it's the World Bank, African Development Bank, IFAD, most of these loans and facilities were negotiated and signed off by the previous government. The projects, most of the projects have started, they were in flight before the CDC government, so the project teams were in place. So the disbursement continued. And as the disbursement continued, definitely the debt portfolio of the country will go up because these debts were already negotiated. In some cases, the government tried to renegotiate and reprogram some of these projects. But in most cases, the projects continue unhindered. All the projects are LEC. Most of the projects at LEC were already signed off, they were in flight. The hydro was constructed as, or reconstructed as, was reconstructed with all of the structural defects of the 1950s. So we inherited all of these things. We tried to manage. So yes, the CDC government, they signed off some loans, or predominantly most of the loans were signed off during the regime of the Unity Party, and the disbursements continue under the CDC government. Domestic debt, yes, and we have a lot of domestic debt from the Unity Party government and even from previous government. And so yes, we incurred some domestic debt, and so they inherited the debt from us. So that is the essence of democratic transition. That is the essence of democratic governance. That is the essence when you conduct peaceful elections, you try to transition the country. You inherit what the previous government has done that we did in 2018. In 2018, we had to put in place a lot of measures to be able to cope with all the domestic international debt that became due. And we were able to navigate those troublesome waters and make sure we kept the country afloat. It was challenging, but we kept the country afloat, meeting all our domestic and international obligations up to December and January 2020, December 2023 and January 2024 transfer power. So yes, the Unity Party, of course, they cook some of the food that they met. You know, we didn't eat all the food, so they're going to have to confront these challenges that we confronted in 2018.
Okay, let's take some calls, right? Asu, let's take some calls.
What is the chairman drinking?
All right, so you can please send your call on 0776927472. I had the numbers for you to call you out in studio. 776927472. I know you are finding out the discussion now.
Okay, I got a first caller.
Closing argument. We have our first caller right here.
I'm again here. You tell me you got a will.
Hello. Hello.
Good evening.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Thank you, God. This is the force of the Lord. We are at the basket of operations. Those who are not used to the that of the country. And let's put a picture the campus institute to the Telamco. We should have led back to the boycott. We think that this is the worst disaster that happened in our country history. Boycott being president of Liberia is the worst disaster that ever happened in the history of Liberia. And within 2 months time, since Boycott took over this country, look at this country. The whole country is silent like they're in a ceasefire. And we came to this country to Boycott. They attempt to prepare to for you to continue on this path, there will be a divided at all. Thank you.
Thank you.
I got
Thank you
I got
for
a caller.
calling. I think somebody have
Ansu,
a
I got one
caller.
caller. Ansu,
Okay.
I got one caller.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead, caller.
Yeah, greetings, somebody George, and greetings to my dear brother, Jagaku. In spite of our political diversity, this one person I hold in high esteem. All of doing he did at Linsu, he served with distinction. But yes, my point of contention in some of the section he made that has to do
What
with
you need?
the Unity Party.
What's your name? What's your name? What's your name? What's your name?
I'm Abu Kambarat.
From Unity Party. Go ahead.
Yes, yeah. So, given some of the analysis he made regarding the continued disrespect to the president, I think that's being disingenuous. The current president of the Republic of Liberia will not delve into any attitude that will further degenerate the peace of our nation. All of us are aware when Joseph Wagner assumed office as president, he called all of his followers, those who believe in him, to disengage political stuff because it's time to govern. Jana Ko, who served as former controller of the Republic of Liberia, that we know being a professional person, we can't in studio and say that this government has not reciprocated what they did in time. But I think that is not the Janako we know. He should not fake. He's a good man. He should not allow politics to cloud his thought. Thank you so much.
Thank you. You got this caller right here. Go ahead. You're live.
Thank you. My name is Augustus Yaba. I'm calling from District 12, particularly the NTA community. And closing argument, first of all, I would like to register my thanks and appreciation to your radio station. I'm always following it, but at least I'm fortunate to be able to connect this line. And thanks to those who are in TO, like especially the CDC chairperson, Honorable Fu. And I want to say something. Liberia is one of us country, and the way things are proceeding, those of you guys who are journalists, I would like to appeal to you people, your please, to our president on our behalf, on behalf of this nation, Liberia, which is our common denominator. We're all Liberia, small other citizens for no other country, especially me. I've not seen any country besides Liberia. To the president for the Republic of Liberia. So kindly, we'll stop to most of those things that are happening in our country today. The CDC government we witness, we didn't see most of these things that are happening. So have a government up to now you have not presented your budget, organized budget so that people can be able to have salary or to take pay. The people are starving and you can't go after all of people.
Okay.
The thing is the government that will fight to bring to power. Some of us argue with other people stood up for this government and think it is frustrating, So I don't know. Thank you for allowing me to show.
And thanks for participating. Do we have call across the table there? Judas, somebody in the call. So you can keep your calls coming to 776-9274-72. The next caller, where you're live on Truth FM. Go ahead.
Yeah, my name is RZDB, and I want to appreciate the chairman and but you see the problem about CDC is information, the stimulation. When it comes to information, when CDC comes in 2029, they have to re-energize when it comes to information because the records of the Unity Party government were able to conquer them because the focus not, giving the information or selling what they were doing to the public. So that is what I want to tell
Okay.
Chairman.
Thank you. Thanks for calling there. +231 776 927472 are the numbers for you to call and be live. Tonight, go ahead, you're live.
Yeah, good evening. How you doing?
Yes, sir.
Good evening to your panelists. Good evening to the chairman of the CDC, Deputy Shaka Sheriff, Cody from Caldwell.
Okay.
One of the most frustrating things that the president has done, which has kept the country divided. I think the chairman, I didn't listen to the chairman talk about that, but uh, the country being evenly divided by results, the president has remained that way. This president has, and I say again, this president has not given up to any opposition people who fought against him during the election.
Mm.
Disappointment have, factored in their alliance. And so he has left about 49.3% of the population of, participation in the government. And so he has kept the nation divided such that if care is not taken, the next 6 months based on some of the human issues that are ongoing, this will explode. And just,
Okay. All right.
how do people put him, they put it in the government, but he did not do it. He has kept the country even more.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks for calling. 0776-9274-72. The number to call right here. And be from the Truth FM. You're live. And name and where do you call from?
Many thanks to you, and good evening to you, good evening to your guests, to you. My name is Hussein Kew, and I phone in from around Jacob Valley District 2. Let me commend your guest in studio. I listen to cross views of the different colors and even the chairman. Let me say this. I listened to the press comment I heard at the Peabody headquarters. And of recent, he appeared on several Chevy shows along with Ibrahim Gosson with him. For his responses, I know he's coming with a lot of responsible, or posture. Now, people will not think you have to be radical and be outright against the government before you become a very good person. Now, I think the chairman has many ways to engage the national government and to just even the budget. The president has to have elaborate press conference and start to back the government, but there should be check mind. Also, I want to urge him also. Recent time we listened to Major Koji and several other participants of the party, West Valley executives. They just come out and just speak loosely. I want the chairman to put it in check. Of recent, Eugene has said on one of your show, he said he will not submit his diplomatic passport, whereby other officials of the past government have submitted theirs. What he said, no chicken will submit to any other report. I think that is completely out of order and that is very arrogant to being a party executive. So I listen to you the one time on Sequel Show. I know you come with decency and honesty. Get be a moderate chairman. We know cities to be a radical party, but I believe in your leadership. I'm for the unity party. I listen to you the one time. I really do admire you. So please put those guys in check so they can just speak loosely. There are ways to engage national government. The budget is out there. He's not a lawmaker. Does he have that taking the budget, and just take the government? That is the way a better political party will proceed. So thank you. I like your leadership style. My name is Hussein Kew.
Thank you, Lucille. Thanks for participating. +231 776-9274 72. Placing calls. So now you've been live on closing argument here on Truth FM. You're live and Nima, where do you call from?
Yeah, come on,
No. That feedback is not good for us, though.
Yes, sorry, sir.
You say, yeah, go ahead.
My name is John T. Miller.
Mm-hmm.
Chemeko, I want to tell you good night because it's night time now. Chemeko, what I want to say is this. If you are coming with the announcement of CDC on what they built for the past 6 years, I want you to be very specific. If you say the pay rules, I want you to name somebody who says the CDC are pay rules, but you just come or statement say the pay rules. If I want you to bring these things to our knowledge, it will be like you are making the CDC unpopular. You are the chairman of the party. So if you're analyzing somebody, you should get clarity from you. You will be able to give the clarity so that we will be encouraged and vote the CDC in 2029. But if you just come as a chairman and start saying this is, in fact, for me, you are not making the CDC popular to grab leadership in 2029, you are making the season more unpopular because we know what the season did for the past 6 years. Under the act of the CDC, 100 million drugs are the free board. Up to now, we're yet to get the reports. Under the act of the CDC, the armed are arrested for the free board. We are yet to get a report. Under the CDC government, there were so many killing of other things that happened. You, Jamaica, you are not bringing these things. You just start talking about skin jaw killing. And it is the same police that will carry to King Jaw that carry on this killing. The US party has not done no change or changing of this police. They are just trying to withdraw you over the president said. So we admire you. So if you come as a chairman, speak the facts so that we will be encouraged tomorrow to come back to the CDC and vote for the CDC. Where they can't see the main rules, but you can't tell where the main rules. And you say CDC say yes, if you come to the analysis, CDC are done for the CDC more votes than the 12-year United Party.
Okay, thank you. I cannot just hold on you. The line is very, very basic. Thank you for laying your points. Indeed, thanks so much. It's a basic line, so I will keep you on too long. Yeah, the next caller is on my back here already. Go ahead.
My name is
Okay.
my question to Chairman Anthony Cole, the mistake that they made, the propaganda is key to every political party. They lost the propaganda war at the end of 2023 elections. What is they doing to refund the propaganda war? It's easy. Number two, all politics local. They have a specific attraction of people that come to them. Why should you want to bring intellectual as a party? We must not forget that all politics local. Thank you.
Okay. All right. There we have it. Can we pick up a few more? The callers as soon as I get a signal from the panelists, I will be joining them back. Can we pick up more calls right here? Go ahead. Yes, sir. Okay, you alive? You see, you call from Bible Telegram.
So that will be the last call, yeah?
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thanks to for participating.
Thank you.
Just one more. One
One
more.
more.
Because,
Okay, we'll do the last call, and then we'll go back to the chairman so we can let him go. Yeah.
okay. The last caller is right here. Go ahead. Yes, sir. You're alive. Okay.
Yeah, he's very low. We can't even hear him. So I don't
Okay.
know.
All right. Yes, he's already off. So I will cross get back to the panelists where the chairman is, so that they can continue the conversation.
Thank you, Anzu. The chairman, I want to thank you for taking the callers. I don't know if you listened to a few of them. If you want to address it before you do, if you also can include in your closing, because we want to, we know you had a long day. You talk about the current the relationship with the former chairman of your party, Moba Molu. We saw he started an organization, a civil society organization called Stand. His position is that he's going to be cooperating with all sides. And is he in touch with you guys? I know you guys talked about having an honoring program for him. Is it still on course? What is going on with Moba Molu and the CDC? And then you can then do your closing also. You muted.
Okay. Thank you. Yes, so on the issue of the former chairman, yeah, we are in touch with the former chairman. He served this party for the last almost 18 years. So we appreciate his service. He's still a strong member of the CDC. He resigned the chairmanship, not his membership in the CDC. We wish him well in his new endeavors. He's a firebrand political activist. He's a firebrand social justice advocate. And so we wish him well in his new endeavors. He has put together an initiative called Stand. And so we wish him well. As a political party, we are in touch with him. We are still planning his honoring and program. And yeah, we are in touch with former Chairman Moba Molu. And the CDC appreciates his service to the party for the last 18 years. I'm sure sometime in the future, he may be, called upon to place an active role in the party, but for now, he's pursuing other endeavors. So we want to wish him well on behalf of partisans of the CDC. We want to wish Chairman Moba well. We want to thank him very much for his patriotic services to the city and the Liberian people. Yeah. So on the issue, I think the colors, I was not really picking up all of the issues, but one of the colors talk about the deployment of that the CDC government deployed the police at Kinja. Yeah, but we deploy the police at Kinja to protect the facility, not to kill people. And that's why on the CDC government, it's not the first time people are protesting Kinja. So you cannot use that as an excuse. Because if the police is under your command, you must give the police straight instruction to value life over anything. The life of the citizen is paramount more than any amount of money. The concession is not important more than human lives. So we condemn in the strongest term the use of force on peaceful protesters that led to the death of innocent civilians. We condemn it in the strongest term, and the former President Weah has indicated we expect that will not be repeated.
All right. Mr. Chairman, you want
on the issue of the passport, because I have had the opportunity to have been interacting with the former foreign minister who gave me some background and context. You see, so propaganda is a very dangerous thing, and the way the current foreign minister is proceeding, the impression is being created that the passport regulation of July 2023 just came out of the blue. No, it didn't come out of the blue. When regulations are updated, they are updated based on the experience. So if you encounter certain situations when you're updating the regulation, you will try to incorporate those issues so that the regulation will solve those problems. For instance, in the regulations before the July 2023 regulation, there was no provision for the aid of former presidents, for the children of former presidents and former vice presidents. those were at the discretion of the foreign minister and even at the discretion of the sitting president. And so the former foreign minister, I would take the liberty to really give background and context, because this thing is being totally put out of context, where the son of the former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, the son of the current president, who was then former vice president, their children and others were given diplomatic passport on the basis of requests, and those requests were on the discretion of the sitting president. So when the regulation was being updated, it was in the wisdom of the government that these issues should be gazetted. They should not be left to discretion. They should be in regulation. So that, for instance, heirs of the former president who will be traveling with the former president should not have to beg the sitting government. Because in the case of the former president, I understand former President Ellen Johnson said they wanted passport for some of her age, she had the right. So when the regulation was being updated, it was thought that no, these things should be included, because if a former president is traveling with some aides, like I said, the former president is an institution. So the former president would never again travel alone. So if he's traveling, one or two aides, so they'll have to be in the same space. And that's what the diplomatic passport is intended for. Because you are traveling with the former president as a security guard, you cannot be traveling on ordinary passport that will send you to a different protocol arrangement. And then the former president will be in a different protocol arrangement. The former president and whoever is traveling with him as an aide will have to be in the same protocol arrangement. And that is the wisdom that led to the update that provided the diplomatic passport to outgoing foreign minister, outgoing special aid, outgoing protocol to the former president. So on the issue of the duration, and the former foreign minister explained that in the sub-region, I think Sierra Leone is 5 years. Passports are issued for 5 years. I think Guinea is 4 years. Ivory Coast, I think it's the same 5 years. So Liberia was the only country where passports were being issued for 2 years. And after every 2 years, you have to go. The cost of reprinting and all of those things. So it was reason, in fact, it indicated that it was the national legislature that was arguing for 9 years. The senators were arguing for the passports to be issued for 9 years. Because they didn't see the rationale that after every 2 years, why they offer for 9 years, but every 2 years they have to go to renew their diplomatic passport. So it was on that basis, that was the rationale for making the passport to be 6 years. So the reason, so okay, we cannot issue, the passport should not be issued for 9 years, but it should be issued for 6 years. And 6 years would be for a term. The term of the government is 6 years. So you issue the travel documents for 6 years. And the issue of former foreign minister, former presidents. So these people, whatever travel document they have it for life. So you argue about 6 years, but they have these travel privileges for life. So you have issue with 6 years, but they have the former foreign minister. Once you are a former foreign minister of the Republic of Liberia, you are entitled to travel on Liberian diplomatic passport for the entire duration of your life. So it's a non-argument. It's a non-argument. Wow. The former president is entitled to diplomatic passport for life. So whoever is traveling with him at that particular point in time will travel with him until maybe he replaces that person. So it was for the convenience of the country, or for the convenience that if you leave office, that you don't have to go and beg. So these privileges should be regulated. It should be in regulations. And that is the deepening of our democracy. So that shows that the country collectively is making progress in governance. You don't go back and then those issues, those structural issues, that former presidents will have to make special requests at the discretion. So if the current president is vexed with you, so you will not get diplomatic passport. No, discretion should be removed. If there are rights and privileges for former officials, those rights and privileges should be gazetted in a law. That if Ben Sanvee is a former foreign minister, he entitled to diplomatic passport, it should be in the law. It should not be at the discretion of the sitting foreign minister. So the issue, they are just making issue, these issues, I think, is out of context. They're trying to score political points and be again disruptive of the smooth governance process. And that's why I see, a government is trying to be disruptive of its own governance process. As a sitting government, you should be more interested in the smooth running of the state. So maybe you need to invite the former foreign minister. He would better even explain to you.
And let me say this. I appreciate you explaining that. I did intend to reach out to him at one point because I was trying to figure out what was the wisdom behind it. But it does make sense. But what you're explaining, it actually does make sense that you extend it for the life of a tenure of a government, of an elected tenure at that point in time, because you don't want to go, and so it does make sense. So you're right. We will reach out to him. We will reach out to him to have a conversation with him. But Mr. Chairman, you can go ahead and do your closing, and then we will let you go.
So in closing, I really want to thank closing argument for this platform to actually pose some of these debates in proper context, in proper perspective, and I look forward to additional opportunities in the future, so that all of these false narratives will be corrected, all of these false arguments, all of these missteps will be pointed out, and where the current government will be held to account for its stewardship of the country. And we want to assure the Liberian people that the CDC will be a robust opposition. The CDC will not be a toothless bulldog opposition. The CDC will constructively engage the current regime and will constructively engage partners. The CDC, again, I want to point out, the CDC does not intend to be a disruptive opposition, no, because that's some of the false narrative to put on the CDC. As soon as you make one comment, they take those comments and spin it out of proportion. We're not going to provide that opportunity for our detractors, though. We will stick to the argument and we'll engage constructively. And we will point out those issues, and we want to assure citizens, we want to assure the Liberian people that will remain robust. Civil servants that are being dismissed, where we are hearing that the CSA is saying people who were employed in 2023 will be dismissed. We are going to take seize of that matter. We are going to call on the national to summon the Civil Service Director General to stop him from embarking on such action. And so that's how we intend to proceed. That's how we intend to proceed. So I want to thank you for the opportunity, and I look forward to more engagements of this nature. Thank you very much, and good night from my end. Yeah, happy Easter.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you. And our regards to the former president and to the CDC. My regards to all the folks out there who we look forward to working with in the future. And as we continue to move our country forward and provide constructive opposition to the ruling Unity Party's government. But we want to thank you for the time. And like you said, you are here anytime. Reach out to us and let us know if you want to make your presence felt. But we thank you for explaining these things, because that's all we can do. And thank you again.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Let's try to.
Yeah, man, it was a good exchange with the chairman. I hope, like you said, he will make periodic appearances.
I agree with him. I think we should invite Kimaya.
Yeah, we should invite Kimaya.
Just his explanation, like I said, makes some sense to me. It does make some sense. I understand we need to put in place stringent mechanisms, right? But and I agree with him. The way they made it to appear like Kimaya just, the new old government just went and said, oh, everybody must have 6 year passport, 6 year passport, and made it look like they were just throwing passports around. I understand that this issue of our passport has been an issue. Our international partners have raised it, but I think there can be a rationale behind every decision that is made. And if there is a precedence in the region, I don't see why we can't follow through with those precedents, but put those stringent security measures in place so that our passports don't fall in the wrong hands. And there's the same thing we have with our budget. Liberia was the only budget in the region that was going from July to July
Yeah,
until we came to do the January to
December.
to the December budget. But I thought it was a fascinating interview, and some of the things he talked about was very enlightening.
And Ben, before we leave, the issue there was a video going around about this Chinese people taking black soil from Liberia.
Yeah.
Well, I reached out to the Minister of Lands and Mines, so hopefully, we'll get a feedback for him because I think it's all under his jurisdiction about the Chinese people taking our soil and shipping out of the country.
Okay.
You know, also the issue about the EPS. I reached the EPS boss, so hopefully we can get some understanding about the EPS guys being sent on the beach for assignment. I don't know. I found out about that too. Hopefully we get to know what's happening about that. But besides that, guys, I know everybody can just end by what telling what on your mind. We can call it a day. So Robert, what on your mind? Let us just know what on your mind. We can call it a day. I
Yeah,
think it was a good interview though.
yeah, it was. It was a great interview. And I think citizens, you should thank me for giving the chairman an opportunity to really clarify what he meant by resist, because as he said, there were lots of spin on him or that narrative that violent, and I thought that he expanded on that. Because I don't think that the assets recovery team have the right to roam the streets and just pull folks over and say, "Look, I'm going to seize your car without any court orders." It doesn't work that way in a civilized society. And what they're doing is wrong. They're moving around with chickens with no heads. Like, they don't know what assets that needs to be recovered. They don't know who are in possession of those assets. There are no legal communications set forth to communicate with them. Legal, no court orders, nothing. They're just seizing properties based on assumption and with target individuals, which is wrong. We can't do that. But I thought it was a great interview. I know a lot of citizens are saying that the chairman seems to be on the more diplomatic side. They don't want a diplomatic chairman. They want a chairman who is radical. I don't know what that means, but they want a guy. He's spoken a lot of diplomatic tone, and they don't want that. But look, CDC is still a big party. You can't take that away. President George Weah remains a very popular figure, and I hope that in this branding process, I hope that they're able to really reach out and get some new folks on board. They need to get some new ideas. They need to reach out to professionals. They need to reach out to people of different ages, different genders, people with different educational backgrounds. They need to reach out, and I'm hoping that they at the end can truly have a party that represents the Liberian people and the masses. But other than that, it was a great interview. Nothing specific on my mind, and that's that. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Cowboy Kev, one of y'all want to take it?
Okay, so great interview. It was good to listen to him, but I still have some concern. I asked a particular question about his strategy for making CDC a truly representative party of the opposition. Um, he said he can't say that in the public. I don't know what is wrong with saying that, because everything they're going to do is going to be in the public anyway.
I also thought that was a missed opportunity.
Yeah, so
I
I think you needed to just say out. There could be people in the trenches who are divided. Oh, what you? I mean, if you say, "Oh, this is what we're going to do," some of those people say, "Good." I think I'm going to go to CDC way. So I think this was. I mean, I asked that question for a reason, because we hear a lot of other people.
I think you misunderstood your question as to what's the strategy to rebrand the CDC as opposed to what is this political strategy. I think that was the misunderstanding there.
Yeah. But I didn't even you use the word rebrand. I didn't use the word rebrand. I said, what is your strategy for making CDC a bigger party?
But guys, politics is a game of precision, though. Right now,
but CDC is already a bigger opposition party. So when you use that, and it's easily for somebody to just and not get what you're saying, maybe if you could explain another way, say, maybe because CDC already big. So to make CDC bigger. To make CDC bigger, there's no political party.
I think,
you pose a question. That's
no, Kev.
You cannot ask the chairman to.
No, I vehemently disagree with you, Kev. I vehemently disagree with you.
But Ben, you always
I always. And I agree with what Kelabo is saying. I think it was a missed opportunity.
No, it's not.
Well, let me talk now. Let me talk.
How can you ask a bigger party?
You said CDC. You said CDC is a big political.
Help me here, my brother. How can you ask the biggest political party?
Kev, you said CDC is a big political party.
Make them bigger.
You see. This is
how can you ask that question? Yeah, man.
Crap, you see something?
No.
This is what I can always tell you.
Tomalin is my closing. Keff has Jack my closing.
Yeah, no. I want to arrest him, You see, this is Keff problem.
How will you ask?
Keff, let people talk now. Don't be disruptive.
Democrat who made Democrat bigger? Democrat is already.
Kev, you see, Kev, you see the difference with you? You're not even a member of CDC. That's the thing.
You see that? It's not to a different person.
He's not a card-holding member of CDC.
It's a reaction.
You see, the problem that what Kelabo is saying is very simple. What Kelabo is saying is very simple. You have an opportunity to pitch to a lot of people that's sitting on the fence. A lot of people who want to make that political move in Liberia. Exactly. And guess what, Robert? There are a lot of people who are looking at the CDC say, you know what? The CDC got young voters, the party of the future. And so I think, and you may be right, Robert, not from Keff angle. Keff angle is not the right angle.
You agree with me now.
Robert, your angle may be right because, listen, you maybe he misunderstood.
Let's say you agree with me.
But Keff trying to imply that CDC is a big party. Kev, if CDC was as big as you claim it is, they would not have lost an election by 17,000 votes. So the point here is CDC needs to get bigger.
Okay, Robert, help me here. Robert, help me here. Robert, please, I beg you, help me here. Name me any other party. Robert, by you. You
don't have to disagree with everything when it comes to CDC.
Losing an election with 17,000 votes to a party that was in existence since.
So then United Party is bigger than you.
Since the 80s to the 90s.
United Party is bigger than you by your analysis.
The 80s and 90s.
By your analysis, then United Party is bigger than you.
CDC 2004, right? CDC coming existence in 2004.
I mean, you're fitting your own analysis.
Call CDC the biggest opposition party? That's a debate?
No, but CDC is the biggest opposition party.
It's the biggest.
But you're not the biggest political party yet.
No, it's the biggest political party.
I mean, Kev, are you listening to yourself?
Yeah.
But I'm worried about you, Kev.
No, Ben, Ben,
Okay, guys,
Ben, sometimes you don't have to win
Let
argument.
Calabo finish now. Calabo,
You
go
don't
ahead.
have to win
Protect it.
argument, Ben, because you want to win argument.
You want to make
Come
a
on,
mountain out of
let's
a mole.
CDC is the
Listen,
biggest.
Yeah, Calabo, let me flow. Calabo, go ahead.
It's your time you talk. But here are the facts, and these facts are based on number. In 2000, Liberia, I would say that Liberia is a minority country. That's why you don't even want one single tribe in Liberia that can put a candidate and say, if all the tribe members vote for this candidate and no other tribe vote for the candidate will win a nationwide election. We don't have that, which is a blessing. It kind of forces us to collaborate. You don't have one single political party in Liberia that when they put a candidate and only the partisans of that party vote, the party will win. We don't have that. Liberia is not a country, it's not like South Africa with the ANC. No. What we have is a minority country. And God designed it that way so we can learn to work together. Here are the facts. In 2005, Unity Party and CDC, none of them could pass even 35% of the vote, all by themselves. They have to go to run the election. And
in 2017, you had a Vonco election.
2011, it was the same. 2017, the same thing. 2023, the same thing. These are facts. So there's no bigger party in the country that I say I'm big all by myself. Part of the things at the back of my mind, take for example, CDC when has a coalition, right? As a strategy to 2017, it's okay. We need to form a coalition. 2005 we went all by ourselves. 2011 all by ourselves. Let's form a coalition. The coalition put you over the finishing line. Do you remain in an arrangement, or do you move towards incorporating these political parties now to be one big party as opposed to have the splinter that could break away any moment? Those are things you need to have. And for me, I thought those are the kind of discussion, those are the kind of debate you can begin to have even publicly. Because not all of your partisans will be at your party headquarters, but if you put this kind of thing on radio, they will call and make contribution. And you take note. And that's the essence of that, Kev. You put this thing out so that not everybody who will have the
disagree for everything.
And you call and Jangako takes note, or a CDC Secretary General takes note. Or call and made a brilliant point. We need to follow this. And that's the essence of this publicity. Okay. So for me, that I know Jangako very well. I know him longer than you've done. Okay. So I don't want to boast about that. I mean, I'm not a seditious, whether it's Samora who call it, whether it's Samotwe, whether it's Magay, all your people there, I've known them longer than you know them. Okay? Me, I'm a former teacher from LU. I known this guy long time. Okay? I don't want to boast about that. I started knowing, when I was teaching Tomalin, I started knowing Samotwe from where Tomalin had. I want you to know that. That's how I've known these people. Okay? So, I'm asking this question just to generate the thinking, the thought process that we need to do this. And I think, by any measure, CDC they have a younger voter.
Yeah.
They have voters that don't need to ask you what you get for me.
True.
When you wear CDC garment, they will go for you. Okay?
True.
That's the kind of vote, that's the kind of base they have. That's what makes CDC different.
Yeah, but Calabo, you Calabo.
I think he finished.
Calabo, no, I just want to say this quick. That would be my closing.
Yeah, Keff
that would be my.
Yeah, you can close now.
That would be my Calabo. You and Ben will be an added value to the CDC. Let's put all joke aside. CDC is a big tent. You guys are welcome. You guys are.
So you welcome me? That will welcome you on the CDC, that you?
Yeah, my man.
Ben is already on board. Because you are
no.
not there yet.
No, Ben.
Yeah, man, I'm messing with you, man. Go ahead.
Yeah, but Ben, the chairman were here. You are added value. You guys are added value. We just on the show. And certain things we just laugh about it. But again, the chairman were here. We listen to him, and we just want to let the opposition, where the ruling party right now the JMB government to know that the CDC will not be sleeping. The CDC will hold their feet to fire and will listen to the chairman. Everything that went on from the president's security and uh, killing and all these other things will be, will stand with the people because the country is split evenly. The country is split evenly. So so the country is split. So you know what? I will not even say the country is split because for the first 3 months, it's already shifting.
Well, you
It's
know the part
already
they not lose that 17,000 votes that they got. I can tell you.
yes, it's shifting.
You know the part they didn't lose it.
But the
Advantage. I think you know
They're
the part they
gone.
didn't lose it that advantage. I can tell you that for
They're
free.
gone. Imagine,
So Kev, you're right. Now we need to stop saying the country split.
Yes, the country not even it not even anymore. It gone. Because look at the people they fire at the mansion. It gone. Look at the people they fire at finance ministry. Gone. Then again, the peace loving people of the southeast. The Unity Party lied to them and say in 100 days, no road, no car will be stopped.
Yeah, what about to say? We counting those days now.
And rainy season now start. Even the RRA road sale will stop because of rainy season. Lie.
That's gonna be big, old Kev.
Oh yes, and then we will play his voice. JMB voice will be coming close to you in your homes. You will listen to it. You will play it. We will play it. We will do a remix in the club. Yo, yeah. No thing. So, yo, yeah. Then you will know that
I think it was
the 17,000 people that sway over will know how
this morning, and the person said the roads are so terrible.
I think it was a horrible decision.
They got stuck so much.
So let me ask you a question. So the president said we first 100 they know car will get stuck in how.
That's what he said.
You happy already?
And guess what's coming in? They've tried to spin it to say because we were against them. He said he would pave with quota all the road. He said no, that's not what he meant. He said that no car will get stuck because he will have machines on the road and so, especially the southeast. He said no car will get stuck in the whole country.
So there's evidence that car been stuck already.
Yeah, we can play that video. We can play that video right now.
No, maybe they will say that old video. Let's just wait.
No, we're not doing
that.
Next month.
$21 million.
Yeah.
Tomalin, can I get 30 seconds, please? Yeah, 30 seconds, please.
Yeah,
go ahead.
So, I think Caleb asked a significant question, right? And I do agree with Keff that CDC is the biggest opposition party. And I say that to say that George Weah alone, remember, there are lots of folks who have supported and voted for CDC that are not necessarily youth, for that matter, that are not necessarily to Ben's point, card holder of CDC, but they're first-time voters, and they have been inspired by George Weah. They are George Weah. But I think what the CDC and what the chairman should have included in his rebranding, and hopefully they're listening, is the structuring of the party where these youth are actually integrated in the party to become cardholders and actually thought about the ideas of CDC. And you know what? The expansion of CDC to Ben's point is very important because you have to look beyond 2029 after George Weah. You have people like Dr. Clement Monipa, right? Name. A lot of young, brilliant talents. You have people out there that have not gotten involved in Liberian politics who could be seen as the future of Liberia in many areas outside of the presidency. So, even though they are popular, the expansion of CDC is also very important. Last point, but not the least, you also have to consider people like Alice Cummings. Alice Cummings, irrespective of his numbers in 2017 and now, he still remains a formidable opposition figure in our country. I mean, this guy is very rich. He has a lot of resources that could help in any collaboration. He has a lot of talent on his ANC team as well. Is there a possibility of collaboration with him and all of what's going on? I don't know, right? But that expansion, even though CDC is big, there's always room to expand and make the party bigger with much more talent in every area. So I think that he missed the opportunity to.
But listen though, there's the kids who are 12 years old today.
Yeah,
it will be the first time voters in 2029. Now, there'll be about 300,000 of those kids, and now already the new political movement.
Let me do my closing with somebody else.
This weekend, Ben, one come to North Carolina.
You show me the data. You want to
show me the data. This group, new movement will be from the target needy kids. They'll be be the full soldiers.
But let me say this. Let me do my closing.
We'll be announcing our new.
I heard Tomalin.
Tomalin, man. Tomalin doing all that work for CDC.
I heard it will be the Acting General.
He's doing all that work for CDC. Don't mind. You know what they're trying to do?
Stephen, please begin this. Mm-hmm. After come 90 days, I will be in Liberia. There are 90 days. I will take videos. My car must not get stuck because everywhere my car gets stuck,
it depends on where you go.
No, it don't matter. Even said, car should not get stuck.
No, but what we plan to do, we plan to sponsor some of our guys with Truth FM and Hot FM to go across the country, right? To go to those trouble, not the whole country, but the trouble spots. Just go to the southeast. We want to start from Iowa says in Grand Basso, right? Start from Iowa says.
This promise will never be achieved in
Ben, before you come in, one of the things they try to run with. When the rainy season, the hydro, the current will be, right?
Yeah.
That's the biggest lie they coming for. You see light?
But it got nothing to do with it.
Oh no, they're planning to use it.
But the rainy season,
what a picture
the hydro be on.
Let me do my closing vote. Go to the picture.
Yeah, put a picture with Peabody and the vice president, man. Want to see that picture again?
Yeah, we put it up.
Put it back, man.
You put it on.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I can pay a currency to call the vice president today.
So that's not a closing argument.
No, you are representing us.
Representing a closing argument. Pay a currency call.
Is that a closing argument?
He represented. The vice president. Listen, we are.
The people go on an official visit or.
Hey, my man.
Hey, my man.
Yeah, currency call.
Yeah, the man pay currency call. The vice president.
That's a citizen.
The man pay president. We congratulate everybody on this. Listen, the man said the vice president of the country. He mean anything. We.
No, I'm not saying he's not. He was constitutionally elected.
Come back with a closing argument. He better be critical because the coming said now
Now you'll be critic. You'll be a critic. But I'll say this: we want to. Let me say. I want to say something on this, and this is my closing, right? And I agree with both Kev, to a certain degree, Kev. I don't get Kev for hard time.
How about my data? You agree with it?
I agree with your data. I know you're doing the work for CDC, so that's why I say I agree with your data. But let me say this. I still believe, and I said this during the 2023 election, that the CDC voters represent the party of the future, voters of the future. What I saw, the level of with the level of propaganda that the CDC suffered in 2023, for the CDC to be that close in Montserrado County, because Montserrado County is where ruling parties get trounced, right? They really suffer in Montserrado County. For the Unity Party to barely crawl behind, for the CDC to be right behind the Unity Party in Montserrado County, it also spoke testaments to those young voters, those first-time voters who were energized by former President George Weah, and whether you like it or not, as long as he is a part. Now, I think the CDC's challenge is doing the extension, right? Like you said, Robert, the transition from them being just Weah-shins. Because what if George Weah decided tomorrow to say, I don't want to be I don't want to take part in politics? What does it mean? Does it mean that CDC is dead? Does it mean that those voters then become free for all? I think what the strategy should be to see how they can do that transition to make those people a base of the CDC And so, and President Weah is going to play a key role in that, right? He has to play a key role in that. But I think the CDC represents their voters are trust me. And like I said, I don't think the Unity Party can even boast of the majority that they won, the slim majority that they won in 2023, because you got Alcop, the folks from Alcop are disenfranchised, they're not happy. You got most of the people are not overly happy at this point in time. They are finally trying to find realignment. The CDC should start reaching out to Alcop. They should start reaching out to them. Start reaching out to most of these political parties, most of the people who felt offended, and start to move and see
but Ben, I think Alco disappointed the CDC because Joe, we have made a lot of investment with some of the key players in Alco. I was shocked when they endorsed Unity Party. To be honest, the president personally made a lot of gains in that community.
I think it had to do with that last incident that happened a couple of days before the runoff. That incident on Somalia drive. But again, like I said, it's water under the bridge. I think there's a huge.
I think Ben's point is important.
Yeah.
No, you can't always go back, because if you keep looking back, you get a bigger picture. So take for example, Councillor Gonglo did not endorse
exactly.
Yeah. But I would say here publicly, President Weah was the only person who actually did reach out to Councillor Gonglo on the phone 4 times and asked for his support. But his party took a vote because LPP is a Democratic Party. The National Executive Committee met and took a vote that we will go to Unity Party. And he has to respect that decision because Unity Party did not reach out to him. It was only President Weah that reached out to him. But he has to respect the decision of his party. Okay? And in fact, the decision of the National Executive Committee was no party should lobby with them. They were going to make that decision independent of any political contestant reaching out to them. They wanted to look at the pros and cons and reach a conclusion without any influence. And that's what they did. So even when they endorsed Unity Party was shocked. President Bouaka said, this is a surprise. Others have come to us negotiating for slots. You endorse our final negotiation. So this is priceless, you know.
Wait, Ben, people talking about midterm. There'll be a midterm, no midterm, right?
Oh, there's no midterm. There's no midterm.
Only the NEMA by-election.
There are only 2 by-election, except there is an unfortunate situation of a death.
Like what happened in Grand Judah?
Yeah,
we got two elections for Grand Judah and for NEMA, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no midterm.
Actually, Unity Party in a very good or comfortable position, really.
Yeah, for now to
There's no.
They are in a very comfortable position.
There's no hala until 2029.
2029.
Yeah,
Wow.
so they really have a good chance.
Yeah, but guys, quickly before we leave, man, what I noticed, right? I don't know whether it's too early, but I'm already getting information, real information. There are a lot of infighting going on now. Like for instance, to a particular institution where the head there, the deputy, they are already started to fight.
Yeah.
They're fighting.
Not only that, there's a fight between Grisper and Kofi Wood right now at the mansion. There's a lot of fight going on at the mansion that I can confirm to you 100% in the mansion. Not only Kofi Wood and Grisper, other folks around that I can confirm to you. That's in fighting between them. Power struggle.
Fadiga and Abraham Kumar.
I heard that.
When Abraham Kumar appeared on Spoon, Stanton raised this issue with him.
But they never got along.
And he said, no, I brought in Fadiga from
Minnesota. That's not true.
No, I mean, wait. Let me explain what he said. He said, I brought in. But this morning, he appeared on Freedom FM, and I listened to him.
Who?
Abraham Kumar.
What he said?
The of infight within DA, it came out again.
But I saw it coming though. I told my guys.
So, I saw it coming. Let me tell you, the way Abraham Kumar answered the question this morning, to me, it confirmed that there is a fight.
But there's a fight. I mean, I saw it coming.
When he was in the police and Gregory Coleman was here, he was 102. No communication left.
He feels. Here's an issue. Yeah, I'm not going to say much, but he feels overshadowed by Fadiga.
No, Kromah is brilliant and experienced. I don't think Fadiga has.
I was going to say, I was
solid, man. Bravo, solid.
What it takes Fadiga is a novice when it comes to security architecture.
But he's a good security architecture. I don't take that away from him. And you know what? He's a very smart. He's a very smart guy too. But what there's a bit of threat with personalities in there. There's a bit of clash with personalities.
I think Abi Kroma is much more stable politically. Fadiga has been from ANC to Unity Party to all what.
But you do know Fadiga would not care if he lost that job, right? He caused some troubles.
But Robert, most of the guys that left the US, living and working in Liberia is different.
Two different things, exactly.
I mean, to go for vacation Liberia is different though.
Yep.
It's different to go for vacation Liberia and to go live and work there. It's different.
Yep.
Yeah, because like Kev, I won't call it me, but somebody Kev I saw the weekend, the person got a job. But so Kev, the person Kev say, he said, you gonna make that money? You gonna make it Liberia? He said, are you kidding me? So money they'll pay that a job for that deputy minister job. I said, no, nothing. So I think I will stay.
Like for instance, vehicle. You talk about living in Liberia right now. A guy like Abi Kumar, he's established. But a guy like Fatiga, there's this issue, not just Fatiga, but this issue about some of these guys are not even gotten in a pace establishment. They haven't gotten in a vehicle to do their jobs. They have, so if these things are not coming, some of these guys don't even have place to live yet.
Yeah.
They're still in
you see my boy Fagon smart. Fagon went back. Fagon now re-energize his shop. His shop doing good. And everybody can go now. Fagon making money for his shop.
But where you staying? Where you staying?
In your house. Make I play. Master your house.
Man. If you're not at Ben Sanvee, don't rush back. Don't rush back to go. No, you ain't got no car. You ain't got no place to sleep. You go and rush go find 2,500.
Now, sir, I gotta go.
We pray for the success of
guys. The time. Okay.
See you guys. Wednesday guest. You bringing a guest on Wednesday? Okay, I'm looking forward to you for that guest Wednesday.
I got to ask, man. No, I can't demand. I got to ask.
Make sure you make the call, okay?
Oh yeah, I got you.
Thank you, sir.
Robert, I'll call you. You gotta do something.
I said,
I can't wait. All right, see you guys. And also, great. Thank you. Yeah, see you.
Tomalin, you guys get on teleconference? Call me.
I got to call you. Okay. Also, I see you, man.